Round 3 continues at Etihad Stadium. It is the Adelaide Crows making the journey across the border to confront Richmond, who were shock losers last week by a very narrow margin on the last kick of the day. As far as the Crows were concerned, it was a very different story. They smashed their arch rivals, Port Adelaide, by almost 10 goals. But interestingly enough, one late change to the Adelaide Crows lineup could certainly change the entire complexion of this game. Tom Lynch was a star last week. He is a star up forward, but he has decided to head home because his wife Courtney is expecting their second child. So he is out of the Crows lineup. That opens the door for Riley Knight. But let's go to our commentators at Etihad Stadium now to keep you up to date with all that is happening. The 1988 Brownlow medalist and the game's record holder at the kennel, the Western Bulldogs. I speak of Gerard Healy and Brad Johnson. And Gerard, with that change, this game suddenly takes on a different look.
Absolutely, Sandy. I think it's now a toss of the coin, but Don Pike, the Adelaide coach, has been good enough to join us before the match to tell us all about it. Some things you can see in 4C in footy and some things you can't. Welcome, Don.
Thanks, Gerard. Yeah, it's unusual circumstances with Tommy Lynch overnight, but it was always the plan that he would return if his wife went to labour. So, good luck to him and all the best to them.
You've had very different weeks. You've essentially been able to bask in the glory of a showdown. I know you move on quickly, but the Tigers have been under incredible scrutiny.
Yeah, look, obviously they didn't quite get it done at the end of the game last week, and but that said, I'll be disappointed in our guys if we sense we don't have as much motivation today to get a result as Richmond do.
A couple of plays. You talk about your forwards all the time and things like that with the flexibility you've got up that end of the ground, which must excite you as a coach. But for me, it's more Brodie Smith and Paul Seaman, what they bring to the side, especially running through the logos and pumping it down to the forwards on a regular basis.
Yeah, look, you're right. We've got some really talented forwards and dangerous forwards, which is pleasing. But we're not a side that wants to rely on individuals, and the guys you mentioned, along with a number of other guys, provide serious run for us and capacity to move the ball quickly.
We spoke to you on Monday night on the couch about how many goals you got from D50 straight through, but the reverse was that the opposition, Port Adelaide, got it inside your forward 50 on 70 occasions. So there's a bit of good and bad.
Yeah, you're right, and we don't want to rely on kicking a winning score of our back half every week. So we've talked about it during the week. In this game, there's always areas to improve, and we've looked at that during the week, and hopefully we can limit the inside 50s today for Richmond.
What about JP Lever? What he produced last week, I think, for you was fantastic in a big game, a showdown, and his composure and his kicking skills coming out of that back half, really impressive in the early rounds, especially in that showdown as well.
Yeah, look, he's a terrific young player in his second pre-season now. He's a real professional about how he goes about it, and it's no secret to the guys that work hard and they're really diligent with their prep can get the results.
Don, we do appreciate your time. Good luck for this afternoon.
Thanks, guys.
Good luck.
Don Pike, coach of the Crows. Let's hear from the Tigers coach. He's with Cameron Mooney.
All right, Jimmo. Well, it's been a massive week for the footy club and unfairly a big week for your captain as well.
Yeah, it is. Look, it's one of those things that happens in the cut and thrust of the AFL industry, but we deal with it pretty early and, we say what needs to be said and we move on. But the proof's going to be in the pudding today. We're playing against a very good opposition today that is very freewheeling, so, it's going to be a great game.
Yeah, they were excellent last week, particularly through the midfield. They've got a lot of numbers. They've got a lot of guys that can run through there. I think which probably surprised a lot of people.
Yeah, it probably hasn't surprised us. I think they've been building that way. Even last year they played a very similar brand, but look, the depth of talent probably, middle of the ground, also forward as well, is certainly going to keep some sides up at night. But we think we've got the players to actually maintain that and also get them on the counter attack. Also, they did give up 70 inside 50s last week, so there are some holes that we hopefully can exploit.
Chaplin coming back in, obviously that great experience. You talked about that forward line. They've got an excellent forward line, even with Lynch out. I mean, that's a big test for your boys today.
Yeah, it is. But we think we've got, like we said, Chaplin down there, Rance, all Australian defenders, and make sure the ball keeps up the way. It's no good if you're defending from deep inside defensive 50. We'll try and get up the ground, and you might see a few easy goals over the back, which has probably been the trend of AFL footy at the moment. But we want to defend from the front half as much as possible. So if we get that on our terms, we'll get the 4 points.
Dim, appreciate your time. Good luck.
Thanks, Vince. Cheers, mate. Thanks, mate.
Nice work, Cameron. Opening bounce not far away as the Tigers try to rectify their cliff-hanging loss last week.
Two traditional rivals going against it. We should have won the game.
Sets it up. One mark. Hasn't happened. Still a chance. Is it a goal? It is. The Pies are in front. It's Grundy. It is unbelievable.
Inside the forward 50. Siren's gone. It's all over. Collingwood have snatched one.
Richmond's got some issues they've got to address. In the end, they butchered a potential 4 points.
They have got form over the last couple of years in panicking late in games when they have leads.
The fallout has been fairly savage. The players today accepted at a team meeting that they should have done a number of things.
It was just a complete mess, Jared, in the end, and they lost the unlosable in a lot of ways.
You've got to say they weren't organised on field. There's 10 of them that have played enough footy to be leaders out on the ground. So there should have been plenty of people there organising what needed to happen in those dying seconds.
Miller up, Walker, handball over the top. Here's Eddie. Well, Eddie in his pocket. Can you believe it? He's done it again. Ball comes back to Walker from Eddie Betts. Now it's not impossible from here. Surely not. It's not impossible. The Texans kicked it. Back to a 2-on-1. Eddie could be the winning two. Not Eddie. It's Jenkins. Plays on quickly, and Jenkins will kick number 4.
What a forward line they are, minus Tom Lynch today, who's a late withdrawal. It feels like a big game here, and as part of the celebrations, the Governor-General, the Honourable Sir Peter Cosgrove, who, as you can see, is a mad Richmond fan, is tossing a special commemorative coin, a special Anzac Day 25-cent coin, which is available in from your local paper, so make sure you check out the details there from the Herald Sun and in Adelaide. Big game as we get down to Cameron Mooney. You can feel the tension, Moons. Both sides 1-on-1. We know what happened last week with the Tigers. The Crows also need to win. They've got a really tough run ahead. Both sides have. Can't wait for it.
Yeah, spot on, Hudder. Look, after last week, Richmond were desperate to bounce back after a disappointing loss. We know that to Collingwood. Can Adelaide keep their form rolling after a magnificent win last week? And it all comes down for me, guys, to this man, Eddie Betts. He's an absolute superstar, arguably the best small forward in the game. Now, go back to round 1. This is what Eddie Betts gave the football club. He gave them a lot of possessions, but he gave them possessions in the back half and in the middle. And look inside 50, only 4 possessions. He kicked 1 goal, 3. Not a bad strike rate in the end, but just couldn't quite put it on the board. Then you go back to last week. This is where he's most dangerous. Only 1 possession up through the middle of the ground. Look at that inside 50. Unbelievable. Kicked 5 goals. All of those goals coming from within 10 metres. You get this guy running back towards goal, and he will not be stopped.
Well, 1 less star, of course, for the Tigers to mind with no Tom Lynch, but they are still power-packed up forward, and that man, Taylor Walker, will lead from the front. So lots of questions going to be asked at both sides here this afternoon.
Alex Rance has gone to Eddie Betts too at this early stage. First matchup.
Tex Walker the deepest.
Asprey playing on Walker. We're underway. The Tigers get the chance to look to redeem themselves from last week. Scott Thompson, what an amazing player he's been, so durable. Gets it down, and Douglas sends them inside 50. Jenkins was able to fend it away. Here's Rance on the job straight away. McIntosh, Alice under siege. The handball was as blind and as rushed as under the circumstances as required. Good tackling from McIntosh, following up. And incorrect disposal. The free kick is going the Tigers' way against Rory Atkins.
Yeah, well, it was good play. Good forward, good defensive pressure there from Richmond. They turn the ball over here, though.
They do, and Miller, who's taken all before him in his opening couple of games for the Crows, so exciting, but it's coming out. Alice, and they link up with Dustin Martin through the middle. And Coxon, has been so much discussion about his leadership. Can't question his numbers last week with a career-high 38. Here's Rewald sending it high. They've got the break. Waiting at the front, Edwards. It's coming his way from Hampson, or is it? Maybe not yet. Edwards back in the team this week. Gets the handball over the top. And Short, who kicked 3 goals, puts the tackle on. Brown was stout enough and gets it through. Good early signs.
Very much a rebound football from the Tigers, which, after the Crows dominated it for a few minutes, nearly cost them a goal.
Rebold tackled from both sides.
It will be interesting what Eddie Betts does here, because round 1, Scott Thompson was his direct opponent. That's why he got up the ground trying to burn Thompson on the way back with fitness and smarts around the middle of the ground to lose him. Will he do the same today with Rance being a bigger opponent? Will he push right up and try and get back and beat him back that way?
Free kick to Kane Lambert. No, in fact, it's going to Sean Grigg.
No, it's a good counter-attack, and they've been able to hold the ball in. So a repeat inside 50. And I don't think Don Pike would have been overly thrilled with the ease with which that ball went from D50 through into a shot at goal.
Not on screen. That's 15.
Yes, they've come with a surge. Everyone just about, other than Sean Grigg, inside the 50 here. Got a couple of his mates sideways to him. You'd think he's a beautiful long kick. When he strikes it well, he'll get the journey. It's a question of accuracy. You can tick that. Oh, maybe not.
Hang on, here we go.
We've got a review.
I believe it's a goal. It's like check to see the ball cross the goal line first.
Daggers. Score review. Umpire's call is a goal. Please confirm that it wasn't touched before crossing the line. Rory, let's go. Let go. Rory, let's go. Rory, take your man out.
First look, it looks like it'll be ticked off.
Yep.
Just got to check from the other side, and that's fine too. It's a goal.
Let's go. Get down here. Thank you.
Good start by the Tigers and a good finish by Grigg. A little bit of a stink still going on.
Review completed. They're into
Confirmed
Jacobs.
goal.
There's the confirmed goal there, but they're into Big Sammy Jacobs.
A little bit ahead of the review.
Yeah, that's okay. We picked it up, Hutto. First, there's got to be lucky here. They don't want to get two in a row given away here straight away, Adelaide. But they're into Jacobs. They're blocking Jacobs everywhere he tries to run. Just trying to take a little bit out of him because he's such an important player for them.
So the goal given, Richmond 1-1-7. Jacobs is the source of a lot of attention. He's such an important player for them and a massive challenge for Sean Hampson.
Yes, it is. In the gun, if you like. That was the old terminology back in the day, but that's the target play. That's the one they want to restrict his influence as much as they possibly can. Take it out of him, which allows Hampson to get over the top today.
5v6 in the Crows forward line with the Crows down a man.
Hampson won the tap, Cochin won the attention and the free kick.
Good start by the Tigers.
And the skipper, his second disposal is a low one into the forward line.
At the back easily.
There's just some confusion amongst the Tigers about who to fly and
well,
who
that's
not.
twice Lloyd has gone for a front and square option where he's had a chance to either fly or go for the mark.
Cheney sending it out wide and finds Brown, who was in outstanding form last week. So all the Crows' defence had 26 disposals, career best, got in the coaches' votes.
Interesting to see Cochin going long with his first kick.
Not a great choice of kick on the way out. Hooley swings it Lloyd's way, forced to fly against Brodie Smith in game 100. And what a dashing player he's been for the Adelaide Crows, Brodie Smith.
Major challenge for the Crows today, Jono. You can clearly see that the Tigers are up and about, as everyone knew would be the case. But can they get the job done for 4 quarters, not 3 1/4?
Yeah, they've started with enormous energy here. They're deep in attack, but not for long. Crows getting it out. McGovern had a reasonable fist of it against Fostone. He got good help. Came from Walker. Chaplin came when he had to go and he knew it. Lyons, who is an inclusion in this team on Friday for Crouch.
Numbers around the footy at the moment is just going Richmond's way. They've got numbers everywhere. You're right with that energy. They've got it early. It's a big role for Chaplin because he's playing the last man. So he's not the quickest over the ground at the moment. So if Miller and Betts get close to him, they'd be certainly a bit nervous in the Richmond coaching box.
It is a bit goalkeeperish, isn't it, that last line? You don't have special powers like you do in soccer, though. You've got to play along with everyone else.
That's right. The long bomb there for the Crows from the stoppage, and you can see what happens. The Tigers win the ball back, and now they are able to execute and get the game played on their terms.
Ellis went to Short, who went short to Cochin, and now Vickery shared it well with McIntosh. They're advancing the Tigers. Lloyd had a little look around and knew that it was designed for him. Oh, did he play on? He did. That was the bad news. Did he get off the line? We'll come back to it. Ellis, as they work it into McIntosh's hands. Hooley's going to fly against the tallest man out there. Took him out of the marking contest. Play on the umpire set. Smith tries to generate run with a handball. It was errant. And it put his teammates Sloan under all sorts of pressure and trouble. And Jenkins tries to fend them off one at a time. And the ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds.
They're all over him, Hutto.
They're on
at the moment. They are, but can they sustain it? That's the most important aspect of this. Lloyd here, did he play on? 1, 2. No, he didn't play on. No play on there for me.
Unless he came off the line initially
he's
on the
in
different
the
angle.
momentum on the mark.
All right.
He just stood there.
Hampson doing well, neutralising, nullifying the advantage of Big Jacobs. Richie Douglas, who was running around after Cochin to the bench, has not given that his best effort.
Oh boy, they've butchered a couple. Martin and now Alice from outside the 50. Distance not a problem. Tigers dominating really in terms of opportunities to score, but they've only turned it into 1 goal 2-8 from their 5 entries.
An area that Brandon could get better at, John. Just recognising when he's got a little bit more time. Everybody's up and about on emotion, including your good self, John. But you just have to be able to settle.
He's pretty confident in his predictions at the moment, John.
Yes, he is.
Hampson takes the mark, tries to be the dab ham, and Mark not paid to Martin.
The umpire's right there.
Kicks into the space, says, come lead at the footy. They crash from every angle. Miller at first, Talia second.
Crows need Tex Walker to come up the ground and put some physical pressure on, because they are getting beaten up here at the moment, the Crows.
Yeah, great call, Jared.
Good crunch too from Alice onto Atkins. They're inside again. The hands were up. It looked likely that Rewalt would mark, but defied pretty well by this under siege Adelaide Crows defence. McGovern came high in the air, but no mark. Rance, and they can set up again. Couple of Tigers meet at centre half forward. They didn't sort things out too well. Alice
good hands.
Left it behind, and now Betts into the middle. The instant gift from Seedsman. A little bit globe-trotterish. That's a word.
Well, absolutely. It summed it up perfectly.
They're clear, though,
they got away with it.
Betts, one more handball. He had lines clear inside
Still
the
there.
50. Didn't recognise that, so Jenkins bombs. Taylor Walker might be able to shepherd this through for a behind.
Well, they just slaughtered a goal there, the Crows, on a number of occasions. They were lucky to get away with one. It was a classic call, Hutto. It was very much symbolic of the Globetrotters. You don't play tricks football when you're under siege. And then there was a couple of options missed, Lyons in particular twice.
And there's a good strong mark to Sean Hampson. He got a fair bit of the ball last week, 13 disposals.
Geez, they're running hard, the Tigers.
Short takes the mark.
Just got to hold sway here. The Crows just got to hold sway and try and get an intercept and get a cheap goal.
They've got an opportunity for an intercept, but that's passed now. Miles earned one the hard way.
Lower and harder. That's what Richmond are at the moment. First in for the ball, you can see it there. Lower and harder than Thompson.
Had a slightly slower start to the season than you might have expected, Miles, but important player for them. Drills it low, and it was almost scooped up.
And again, a hack kick out of defence. So if you're going to play that sort of defence, you're going to want to hope that you can win a 1-on-3, and it doesn't happen all that often.
Didn't help with McGovern overrunning the footy. The Tigers teaming up. They're going to go around the Adelaide zone here. Asprey. Good pressure applied by Walker. Meant that the kick had to be good, and it certainly didn't pass. It's so clean. It's so exciting for Adelaide fans as to what's to come. The present, though, is Thompson. Betts doubling back to the square. Rory Sloane can wind up. They need him to stand up here and now and kick a goal.
Well played. Well, Jono, they have got a star in young Wayne Miller. He was the one who tidied it up. Tex Walker put some pressure on, but it was the young fellow that picked it up. This is a great kick. They haven't been hitting targets to date. And then there was a really smart play here. It was Thompson who just waited and waited. There was nothing on. Eddie Betts actually went to ground. He fell over. And Rory Sloane has got them a 1-point lead with that nice conversion.
He's had a relatively quiet start to the year, Rory Sloane, averaging 20 disposals, done his job. But I think in the absence of Dangerfield, it might be him leading the way. But it's good that others have stepped up.
Oh, no doubt he'd like to get a couple of games the next couple of weeks up around that 30 disposal mark. We know he can. And he's such a huge influence around the stoppages and then pushing forward, which we've just witnessed.
They've worked their way cleanly out to the wing. Smith goes to McGovern, fighting a good battle with Flostone, and he took the points that time. Flostone battles on, lays the next big tackle. The next man that happened to be in his way was Riley Knight, who was the late inclusion today.
Yeah, good call from the umpire. No prior opportunity. McGovern looks a player, Jono. Young player. He's going to make some mistakes, but he looks as if he's an elite athlete.
Yeah, definitely. You like the way that he moves in the early part of his career. Good running patterns.
Aaron handball by Cochin. Smith batted it away. Douglas took the chance to blast.
He's a great kick. He is a great kick, but there were a couple of others involved, like Jacobs, who flicked out the handball, like the immediate intercept, and will pick up that particular player shortly.
Brody Smith.
But it was a handball that was telegraphed, and it was a nice little pickup from Brody Smith, who set that ball on its way.
Excellent goal to get 2 in a row here for Adelaide. You can just see around the stoppage there. Douglas is just allowed to get out the back by himself. No coverage from the Tigers.
The best way to dampen the enthusiasm of the Tigers.
The other thing too for Richmond, and that's what we talk about, sustained pressure. They're into Jacobs for the first 5 minutes, blocking his run, not letting him get back to bounces and stuff. The last couple of minutes, they haven't gone near him again, especially then, after Adelaide kick a goal, they all just drop their head and walk back to their position instead of saying switched on to what their targets are.
Miles got it out. It's not clean for the Tigers. It's getting better, though, now as they advance from behind. Alice was able to get Menadue into the clear.
Nice intercept mark here coming up for Lever.
Raffle between the two Crows defenders. Lever, who's impressed so many, and Laird just gets better and better. Somehow seems to still go under the radar a little bit, but
didn't think it was a great option, the kick, and that's a pretty average handball, though they've got away with it.
Cochin, the next kick, all important. And what a battle that's going to be between Riewoldt and Talia, the closest checking key defender in the comp. And he's up against one of the best forwards who's in his prime. John,
he's taken a couple of marks now, Riewoldt. That was a especially good mark because Talia was right on him. You could see him have to wrestle his arms clear right at the last minute to get both of his dukes out to take a clean grab. And you can see there, throughout his career, from that exact spot, from all over the country and all the grounds, he's 22 goals. 9 to the left, 5 to the right with misses.
Just kicked the 1 goal in their loss to the Crows last year, playing on Talia in round 19. He's got one already in the first quarter, and the contest is living up to all the expectations.
Well, Rance was able to push up again, and that's where he's extremely dangerous. McGovern was the outlet kick, couldn't take the mark. He had Rance's direct opponent in pressure. He was able to push him out of the contest. Then it was in the hands of their skipper, Trent Cochin. You can see it there. Just gets him out. McGovern's got to mark those ones. Rance closing in on pressure. The old 1-2 with his skipper. And you can just see there Riewoldt last second.
Great mark. Now, if McGovern takes a mark like that, there's no shot at goal.
That's right.
Well, the Tigers strike back. One of the fascinating elements of this game is to see Eddie Betts being tracked by the All-Australian fullback.
Centre bounce. Neither really needed to jump or decided to. Jacobs thought he had it on Vickery, got the tap down. Matt Crouch was crowded very quickly. Got some latitude by the umpire, according to the crowd anyway. Brown tries to generate by hand. The Crows being forced to handball a lot. They've had 16 kicks and 27 handballs so far.
Jared, just on that matchup, it just shows who Richmond really do think the barometer in that forward line is. To put a 6'5" player on arguably the best small forward in the game. They know Eddie Betts is the man.
Also, Dylan Grimes out of the team with injury. They don't have a lot of options, do they? What are you feeling from down there, Moons, in the early stages?
Look, I think once they kicked that first goal, Richmond, the atmosphere down here was electric, and it was absolutely brilliant. But they needed to get back into that game with Riewoldt's goal, because you talked about the club being flattened, the players being flattened. Well, the supporters were being flattened down here as well, and the whole electricity just went out of the stadium until Riewoldt got that goal. So they needed that desperately.
Good takeaway. Set Martin on the path, and they can link up through the middle.
Oh, good lead.
McIntosh kicking.
Well, that was well covered, but he buried the mark.
Genie coming across and then fumbling, and now grumbling as he's been pinged for holding the ball.
Thank you. Well, you're right. He just had to be clean. He had a clean attempt at the mark, spilt it at the last minute. And once that happened, Richmond were all over him, like they've been through the entire first quarter. Once the ball has hit the deck, they've had numbers everywhere. Drops it there, comes in over the top, dives again. That's the problem. And then Ben Lennon just sat on top of him with Lloyd coming in to put some extra body pressure on.
Saw him in the warm-up. He absolutely slotted every shot at goal.
Good to see him back in the team. He's had a little bit of an interrupted pre-season, Ben Lennon.
Just goes to show, Jono, when you're putting for show or putting for dough, there's a big difference.
Just ask Ernie.
Yes.
Oh, don't ask Ernie.
Short kick in. Tigers lead by 2. Yeah. Crows on the way out.
That's a penetrating kick.
Oh, it was a full-body kick, wasn't it? He gave it everything. And Walker, they're going to get there in 2 kicks if they want to shepherd this through Riley Knight. And he's just being worked over the line.
Well, it was only a metre away from being one of the passages of play of the year. Geez, he launched that ball, didn't he?
2 of the longest consecutive kicks probably we've ever seen.
Rory Sloane, he got everything on that.
Tigers by 2, but now they've got to defend. Betts gets himself dangerous. There's no one on him, and the Tigers just suddenly realising that just out of the top of screen. Rance.
Tigers got a couple of more in and around this stoppage, and the Crows have got them encircled. So it's the inner circle versus the outer circle.
Are you on the inner circle or the outer circle, John?
Well, they've got an advantage here because they've got the extra tall ruck.
I was very much on the
read the tap, got it back to halfback. Brown stood underneath it. Sloan didn't fall from Laird, ducked, and that's the way the umpire reads it.
He's trying to get it out.
No, doesn't penalise.
It's a good call by the ump.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Eddie Betts has not stopped running. I know he hasn't had much of an impact so far in this game, but he is trying to just put Rance to the sword.
Grigg to Ellis. Helps the Tigers back to the wing. Revolt, full of valour and courage. Rioli back in the team. It's a smaller Richmond team, and they're darting this way and that at the moment. I think a better balanced-looking Richmond team this week, John. I don't know what you think about that.
Some good ins for sure.
Martin waded his way through, and the Tiger fans like what they see.
Gone. No, good support running, but here's Eddie.
Gee, they've been pushed further and further away from goal. Back to where it's going to get goals.
Sure about that one. We'll have another look.
I'm with you, Jared. He drove his head in here. You watched.
Yep.
Let's play on for mine.
Tex, hands to yourself.
Nevertheless, they got away with one. It was a great rugby scrum, wasn't it? Going back and back, but they've still got nowhere to go at the moment, the Tigers.
Tigers have had 26 more disposals than the Crows so far. Both sides have had more handballs than kicks. So it's an interesting struggle at the moment for them to find clean path.
I think it's just the close-up pressure. Both sides now, as this game is starting to settle down, really closing up. So it makes them go for that extra handball just because of that constant pressure from the front.
It was a courageous mark by the skipper, but once again, they're effectively back to where it all started.
10 disposals now for Trent Cotchin after an equal career best 38 last week.
You'd like them, Jared, if they get to where Cotchin was, to open some holes for each other, to maybe get some short 15-metre kicks going on the 45.
That changes things. The breakthrough came from Edwards, skimmed the pack, and lets himself down with a kick. Cheney marking the entry and then sending it back through the middle of the ground. Talia wants to give. Kept on coming. And Douglas looked around. He was totally friendless, but he found a mate out the back. Laird. And kicks it across halfback. Controlled enough for Lever. And now Seedsman. They're beyond the wing.
They've got Jenkins deep.
Walker there as well. Goes for the skipper. Asprey nudges him successfully. Walker still in. Oh, McKay just strolled through and then handballed as if Chapman was his teammate. Alice using the rules that allow the defenders to take it deliberately through from behind. It does just that.
Unusual rule. The irony that if you even blink and take it across the boundary line, you get pinged, but you can kick it backwards, it seems, and do it without any problems around goal.
By hand again, the Tigers' mantra and method. And Alice decides to get the extra handball through the chain of Alice and Hooley and Vickery, and now they're running Rioli. Puts it out in front of Short. He couldn't burn off Cheney.
That's a good effort by Cheney. He had to go, and he did.
Could have been rewarded with a free kick.
And now the turnover.
But it's the good work that was undone by Edwards with such a poor, easy handball that he missed.
McGovern had a couple of options, ignored the hand, went instead by foot. Walker, the nudge on Chaplin was good. He's got support in the square, but he goes solo and puts it through the skipper.
Oh, no, it's at the post, has it?
For a behind.
Well, he had a player on his inside. Do you think Tex is fit, John?
Yeah, I think he's fit. Yeah, I do. At times you think that he's not covering the ground as well as what we have seen in the past. I've got no doubt that he's fit.
It's an interesting question, Jared.
Well, he doesn't look to be moving anywhere near as well as I've seen him over the years.
Menadue puts it out on the fall again. The pressure,
but it is early.
Telling.
We'll just see how he travels over the next couple of quarters.
Brodie Smith proves the angle, makes the goals more accessible, and then sends Eddie Betts to leap, which he did, but didn't mark. Vickery on that last line for Corey Ellis. Betts was a menace, so Hooley better watch out. Eddie's coming, he's got you.
Who gets the free kick, though? The first or second tackler?
I think Betts.
Eddie's up and about.
Yeah, Eddie was the one who played the effective tackle in the end, but it's the close-up. It's the way that Adelaide made them stop and made Richmond stop quickly. Hooley had to hesitate. And the only way that's successful then is you've got good chase down from your forwards from behind, and this time it was Eddie Betts.
Well, what a player he is for the Adelaide Crows. 29 years of age, 232 games worth of experience. 5 goals, 1 last week. We know he loves this pocket. You can take the Eddie Betts pocket on the road and kick them like that.
Well, it's been a terrific fight back by the Crows, who were under siege early, it's got to say, Jono. And Richmond have won the ball back across the half-back line a number of times. They just have not been able to penetrate. There's Eddie's first effort. Nice work from Eddie getting up. And then he gets on his bike again, and he gets involved with the tackle.
The important thing is that's the same passage of play. So Eddie Betts going for a fly, hits the deck, gets up, stays involved in the game. That's why he's such an important player for the Adelaide Crows.
You're right about the question of who should have got the free kick to. Paul Seidman had some claims, didn't he?
He did.
But Eddie made the real impacts. And Adelaide in front.
I reckon Paul looked around the hole and went, no, Eddie, I'll walk off here.
Yeah, I think it's fair.
Spot on, Moons.
He's not really shy, though, Paul Seidman, to have a shot. So it's good team play. And Thompson, his 249th game for the Adelaide Crows. What a warrior he's been. An enduring player in the midfield. Hurley back to the wing, and we start again with these individual battles. Cheney, Jacobs, Crow starting to get on top of the contest. Thompson and his left boot doesn't fare so well. Crouch the handball, and a little duck there from Riley Knight and got collected on the way.
Straight off. Right out, wait. Clear out, thank you.
I think that rule, Jared, of players ducking their head and playing on, I think that's gone out the window today.
Well, we've seen a couple. We're on Tex Walker watch, though, Moons. If you can just keep your eye on him and just see if his work rate is as we've come to expect.
Well, it'll be interesting to watch, and we've maybe got some early observations about how they're covering Tom Lynch today, the Adelaide Crows, because he's such an important connecting player for them. Short rushes it onto the boot, sends it out to the wing, and Revolt does enough, and it's out of bounds.
Well, there's Tex Walker. And this is his last effort going for a mark. Then the ball left the area and Tex stood and didn't move.
Boundary throw in.
Holding, Richmond.
Free to Hampson.
Richmond, holding.
Yeah, it's a good point, Jared, because when you look at Tex even last year, he was going, then he was moving to put physical pressure on.
Super athlete.
Yeah.
And he is a super athlete. The question is he's just been asked to stay inside back 50.
Easy turnovers now the last 5 minutes for Richmond, really hurting them. They've had a chance to go inside 50 a number of times, turning it over in dangerous parts of the ground with just easy disposal that they're missing.
Well, we saw both Richmond and Collingwood in that first half last week. Didn't they butcher the ball?
Well, this is going wide when they've got no real need, but this kid doesn't normally do anything except something superb with the ball, but even youngsters can make it work.
Richmond's kicking efficiency is 56% at the moment, Jono.
Thanks, Brody.
And like Adelaide, in fact, Adelaide have now had more kicks than handballs.
High 60s into the 70s as it needs to be.
Lloyd going a long way back, and you can sense, Moons, the frustration of the Richmond fans with their indirect use of the ball.
Yeah, indirect. It's just more, I think he touched on it before, guys, the fact that they are just turning easy kicks over at the middle, through the middle of the ground, and then we're seeing Adelaide slingshot back inside 50, and they're actually lucky to only be down by 6 points at the moment. They really should be down by 2, maybe 3 goals, because they are kicking the ball so poorly at the moment.
It's good vision that time, and good patience from Hurley to get Ellis on his own to the wing, where they do have a 2 versus 1 in their favour, although the one
again.
Geez, they've taken some defensive marks here, and the 50 metres is going to drag him right up to within goal scoring distance.
Against Jack, it's Hardigan who took the mark.
Yep, last 4 times they've gone to that position of the ground, Richmond. They've turned it over, and Adelaide have gone forward and been able to get in a dangerous spot to have a score.
Hardigan's never kicked a goal, and he still hasn't because Sloan is blasting.
Well, that was interesting. Jack Rewald was too busy getting in the face of Jacobs, and there was no one on the mark.
Foster to bring it back into play for the Tigers.
So they're going short and they're trying to handball their way through, but they've run out of options.
Well, they're out now. We can mark and turn quickly. Lloyd's on the run. Heading towards goal is Edwards as well. Oh, the bounce, he was handicapped by at that time. Brown shuts him down. Just misses the handball on Rioli.
Well done, Jacobs.
It's not coming together for the Tigers right now. But Adelaide's starting to click. As they run. Seedsman gave it to Sloan and then wants it back. Kicking a bit out from goal, and he waited, and then Lyons came into his field of vision, and he can have the shot.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because all Richmond players started to float back in a wave, so they were guarding space rather than the Adelaide players that were coming back into that into that as the second wave. So they continue to watch the ball, didn't swivel their head to watch the Adelaide players actually just drift inside 50 all by themselves.
It was interesting, Jono, though. It was really disciplined holding of the ball. They have elected not to go to their talls, even in a one-on-one position.
Jared Lyons leans back and sends it right through the middle.
Well, this has been a really interesting quarter. The Crows got away early for, the first 3 minutes, and then Richmond got on the board, and they have just given the ball back so many times.
You can just see here, you can see at the back, you've got Betts and Jenkins. They just float, but then you see the next wave of Richmond players coming in side 50 at the moment. So Jenkins is the bailout kick. You see Vlastuin there, though. He's not swivelling back. Lyons just pops out the back and takes an uncontested mark.
Well, last week we know that Adelaide got the majority of their scores just from defensive 50 bursting through. Today all of their scores coming from turnovers.
Jake Lever getting some attention down there on the bench.
It's where they're turning it over, Jared, though. That's the spot. They're doing it around the logos, the middle of the ground, so they can launch from that point.
In fact, it was Brown as Smith gets the handball back to Lever, who goes short. And good
tackling's
tackling
been
again.
really good. In fact, coming into this game, they were one of the poorer sides at tackling. It may well have been a focus throughout the week, because they have been terrific, the Crows.
Jack Riewoldt has just pushed himself back now. Minute to go in this quarter. A couple of goals down, Richmond. He's gone back to steady the ship. So he's in amongst them at the moment. They've got four forwards around him. He's the one in the middle. He's now pushing to the back of that. I like his positioning. It's got to be one kick away, not two. If it's one, he impacts the contest. If it's two, he may get caught right in the middle.
Hampson got it down, but again, the Crows winning at the coalface and getting it out of the game. Rory Atkins. And they've got the run. And they're just connecting well. McKay takes the Seedsman pass, sends it Jenkins' way, 3 to beat at the back. Oh, McGovern!
Oh, that's a...
disappointing.
Geez, he looks raw, Jared, doesn't he? Looks fantastic. This is an unbelievable, fantastic leap, isn't it? But geez, he looks raw. But you talked about that Lynch roll. He's the one who's playing it at the moment. He just can't quite get his hands on the ball, but his work rate is right up there.
You got a punch from behind, Hutto.
Well, Troy Chapman took a terrific
take that out of the game.
We're all watching McGovern. Last 10 seconds.
Stay there, JB.
Kick for a throw. And Brandon Ellis, if he gets the opportunity here, will have his 13th disposal. Cochin also is into double figures. He's had 11 for the opening term. But the Adelaide Crows, with the last 2 goals of the quarter, have a 13-point advantage at quarter time. And they certainly take the honours for the opening term. But what a game. Stay with us. Plenty going on at Etihad Stadium. The Crows in front. Well, what a contest between Richmond and Adelaide. Whichever angle you're looking at it, getting up close and personal on the ground, on the bench. Hope you're enjoying our coverage this afternoon. Richmond looked the goods early, but the Adelaide Crows with the last 2 goals of the quarter. And now the Richmond hierarchy have to get their message across. What's the main thrust, Jared Healy and Brad Johnson, 2 stars of our game, with us in commentary this afternoon?
Well, I think the Tigers have just got to look to the way they're moving the ball inside their forward 50. They've had half a dozen intercept marks, Jono, that have been rebounded into their forward 50. And I think that that really is an issue that they need to address.
Well, they need to address a few things defensively as well. Hutto, and Moons is with their defensive coach, Benny Rutten.
There you go. Say no more. Down to you, Moons.
Down here with Benny Rutten and Benny. I mean, we talked about it just before. I mean, you're kicking through the middle of the ground. The turnovers have really hurt you.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, across the board, I think we're playing pretty well, but we're just not valuing the ball. We don't have that care with our possession. So a couple of times we turn the ball over through the midfield, which puts us under pressure.
Asprey and Chaplin must be so important for you today to allow Rance to stay on Eddie Betts.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we lost Grimes, who we feel is a pretty good matchup for Eddie. So we're to look at doing something different there, and if Rance can do it, that'll be great.
Thanks, Benny. Thanks for your time, mate.
Thanks, mate.
It's a challenging time for the Tigers. They've been under the microscope. They've had team meetings. They've had, I guess, honesty sessions, etc., Jono. And you do need a 10-minute patch where everything goes right for you, and then you can build and get that enthusiasm and belief back, and all of a sudden it can turn into an avalanche of goals.
Yeah, but the first 10 minutes of that first quarter, why were we getting excited about Richmond? Because they were pressing up and they were going forward and they were locking it in. Then the last 15 minutes of that quarter, they turn it over at centre wing 4 times. Adelaide go forward, kick goals. They take marks at half back. They kick backwards 3 times before going forward again. And then Adelaide's able to put the press on and really build some pressure that Richmond couldn't handle because they were trying to come out by hand. I know it's fast footy, the first part that we liked, but that's what works for Richmond.
Centre bounce. We're into the second term from Etihad Stadium. Hansen climbing higher. But first hands to the ball. It squirts out. Matt Crouch versus Cochin. Revolt dumped by Thompson. Umpire lets them play and now decides is the right time to intervene. Centre clearances in the opening quarter 4-3 in favour of Adelaide. Up for grabs again.
But Richmond have got the advantage around the ground at 11-7.
Holding the ball, but he's got to give something. Like literally the ball was held to him, so I don't know what more Dustin Martin could do in that situation.
Brodie Smith sends it sky high towards Taylor Walker. Good courage from Rance, but Eddie Betts, he was just there ready and waiting and puts it on a platter for Mitch McGovern, who makes sure everyone's watching and puts it through.
It's a great matchup, Jared. Eddie Betts versus Alex Rance, and you can see there Rance going for the intercept mark, and then his direct opponent Eddie Betts stayed at ground level.
Well, here's a free kick.
Couldn't really do anything there, Martin.
Yeah, but he's not trying. I think that's what the umpire's saying.
No,
You've
I
got
know
to make
that,
an attempt.
Early part of the season, the umpires actually called a ball up quite quickly. There's Rance going for the intercept mark. There's his direct opponent doing his best work at his feet.
And guys, that can be the problem with Rance lining up and Eddie Betts. He wants to come third man across. And that's the importance there of Walker to make sure he got that contest and brought the ball to ground. Eddie just licks his lips when that happens.
Well, that would be enough, I would think, for the coach's box. I know they'll stay with what they've gone with, Jono, but to be having a second look at that as Cochin works it inside 50 by hand. It found Miles somehow. Back outside again with Alice. Martin.
Oh, good pressure.
McGovern, he came for him, and with great intent. The handball was a bit speculative at best, and drawing plenty of attention there. Fostone, where's one for the team?
Yeah, no, it's a poor handball, Hunter. You can't just look up and deliver that when there's an oncoming horde of Tigers. They've done really well to get the ball back here, the Crows. You don't want to give it away with just an errant, poor decision.
Crouch. No Brad Crouch, just Matt Crouch in the Adelaide side today. Hardigan blasts them inside 50. Walker slightly out of position, but he got there to get an important hand to it. Follows it up and just removed young Alice from the contest and then lets himself down.
That was better. Second, third effort from Walker, Jared, and that's what we're talking about in that first quarter. He brought the ball to ground. Second effort to get back over.
It was clean, wasn't it?
Third effort to push away.
Everything bar the goal.
And Adelaide now have had 10 scoring shots to 5 and lead by 20 points. It's getting dangerous for the Tigers. Hampson hands to it. Vickery trying to get into the game. Miles changes the angle up. High ball to the wing. They've had that a few times and they've still been beaten in some of these contests on the wing. They can't afford that right now.
It's a one-on-one forward to the centre here for Richmond.
He's gone now. I'd see that one.
And Rewald versus Talia, we're desperate to see how that unravels, but we just haven't been able to see a contest.
Menadue, slick with hands. Likewise, Martin and Cochin.
Big ball here from McGovern.
Sent it sky high, but he's found Alice.
That's a good kick.
Had enough penetration to get Vickery. Where to next? Does he go by hand? With the man going past in Corey Alice. He waited. Oh, it's 50. That'll help.
Well, he's been on the end of a few of those this year, Ty Vickery. This is an absolute bonus, and the coach is filthy.
I'm not sure whether it was the manning of the mark, whether he had to go east-west, or whether he could arc from the position that he was in. Because if you're 70 from goal, you can actually arc, can't you?
Yeah, was that?
There was that movement. So he must have been considered too far out still to be able to man the mark that way.
So Ty Vickery who doesn't get a lot of the footy but is generally very accurate. 5 goals, 3 for the season. Kicked 3 in round 1, 2 in round 2. He's now a 100-game player for the Tigers. Needs to convert. Pretty reliable in that situation and shows it at a critical moment.
Well, it's a goal that they absolutely needed. I've had a good look at that 50-metre penalty, though, John. I still can't quite work out why it was given, but nevertheless, they've got it, and the Tigers are back in the hunt.
Yeah, they're able to win here and be clean from a stoppage. Get a good switch of play. Instead of going directly backwards, at least they went across and kept moving forward. That was a great kick by Alice. He had Alice breaking into space.
And then Hartigan cuts the angle back inside slightly.
Yeah, he loved the goal, Ty Vickery. He loves to build some excitement down forward for the Tigers.
5-5, 3-5. Contested marks, look at that, 6-0. Crouch. And Rance was able to track the ball and left Eddie Betts behind. Good backup from McGovern. They tried to close in on him, but the boldness of Rance, that's the sort of bravery Richmond need to show right now as they springboard off half-back. Cochin linking up through the middle. Grigg assessing, pondering, handballing. McIntosh, quick, inside. Lloyd flies. No mark. Good backup from Edwards first. Revolt second. And the promise ends in naught.
Well, it was a good spoil by Lever. He was on in the air and could have been exposed at ground level. McGovern did so well at the other end of the ground, but didn't stick to tackle, and all the good work. It almost, I think, elevated, inspired the Tigers, the fact that Rance was able to break the tackle and get them launched again.
Hampson with the spoil. It was all Adelaide at his feet, though. And they've got it out of there. McKay banged it back. Tigers had the extra body. Rance didn't just blast away, patted it down for Hooley. Crows defence on the job, though. Brodie Smith feeding McKay. Looks in good touch at the moment. The to and fro work well off half-back with Crouch. They're going to pay the advantage instead of the 50. Charging towards goal. Douglas, he can preserve that lead and just chips it through for a goal.
Free kick to Adelaide up there. All clear. Advantage and all clear. Advantage all clear goal. Thanks, guys.
There was free kicks and 50 metres and free kicks all being paid.
Well, the only question is, does he get another crack at it? I doubt it.
No, I don't think so.
There's Rance. He's spent. He's chasing around everyone at the moment. But it starts at half-back, and that's this handball here from Crouch. That one there, bang.
Jeez, it was a
young player,
challenging handball.
And that was so pure, that handball, because if that didn't happen, Richmond were closing up. Adelaide wouldn't have got the opportunity out the back.
Well, it was a good rebound goal here by the Crows from deep into defence. Really challenging handball to set up the 1-2, Jono, as you pointed out. But they did get their way through the pack, and Sauce gets another crack.
Two of the players in that passage of play, Douglas and McKay, I reckon both really important players for Adelaide this year in the absence of Dangerfield, just stepping up, providing that depth through the midfield. Hooley takes them wide off. He's muffed that one, Dustin Martin.
It's like he jumped a little bit too early and lost his way in the air a little bit.
They want more ball in the hand of Hooley, and they want Hooley going forward hard. Not chip kick sideways, etc. They want him getting possession up around the ground as well, like Josh Gibson does for the Hawks.
Betts with a new opponent there. I don't know if it's temporary or not. He's gone up the ground, and maybe that's why. Thompson just centre half forward. And Rance maybe getting a breather on Douglas. Asprey.
They've been really good with their pressure inside and around the forward 50.
Again, the umpire says play on. It's out. Douglas hacks them inside.
Boundary will do them fine.
And Hooley on guard lets it go there.
I think Rance has had to go back deep just to try and give himself a couple of minutes to have a little bit of a breather, because he's had to do an amount of work. You can see him now, him and Eddie Betts both on their haunches, trying to get the breath in before they go again.
Back on Eddie. So watch out if it happens to go Adelaide's way. Lloyd careful with the kick, and he had good numbers there. It was tough for Lambert and straightened to Lever. He doesn't take a backward step. He didn't do a lot for the chances of Josh Jenkins. Lever's still there and about, but can't take it. Hooley by hand this time.
An important win here by the Tigers. They can get through.
Lambert and Grigg and Edwards again for a second time. Misses wayward handball. Jenkins, the big fella, tracks it down. Jacobs.
Well, he's doing great work with his hands around the ground, Jacobs, but not getting a lot of free ball from the stoppage.
3 Tigers, really no cohesion about that. At least they get it out of bounds.
Yeah, they take the contest. At least they make sure it was a big spoil this time, not landing at the feet where the Adelaide Smalls have been able to do some damage.
They've only laid the 1 tackle for this quarter, Richmond. They were leading the tackle count 17-14, 10-11-1 this quarter already for the Crows. You can feel the pressure down here from Adelaide.
Find themselves 20 points down, Richmond, and Adelaide pressing, looking for more. And almost for Jacobs, tried to fashion something.
Well, Jacobs so far is really doing well around the ground, but I mean, the only hit-out stat that's worth worrying about is the hit-out to advantage, but it's 7-1 in favour of Richmond.
Hampson with Bigger Van Marriage not far away, fighting for his place in the team. Oh, the Tiger fans can't believe that, and it's an Adelaide free in front of goal. It's Scotty Thompson, who's always been a reliable man.
I thought it was going to Eddie Betts, but he just confused me. I think he was calling for the footy in around that.
And should be able to pop this through, which he duly does. And the lead extended to 26 now.
Well, given that both Crouch and Tom Lynch are out of this side, this is a significant lead right now. We know the Tigers have got a couple of players also out of their best 50, out of their best team, but they need to find something here, the Tigers. This is now a major issue for them. A long way down on the scoreboard just prior to, well, halfway through this second term.
You dive on it, you're more than likely going to get pinged.
Free kick all fair then, Jono, did you think?
Well, if you dive on it, I think that's the reality, regardless of whether you can get it out or not. I think if you dive forward towards the ball, then that's the first trigger the umpire looks at, and if you can't get it out, you will be pinged.
Crows tackling hard this quarter, as the numbers reflecting. Lions through the back door, Smith. And they've got all the answers at the moment. Adelaide, Jacobs sending it Thompson's way. Keep on running, pumping it forward. It was a low kick from McKay, just misses Walker.
Really missed an opportunity there. McGovern was leading long and deep, and he's on his own.
Oh, Eddie, there or thereabouts. Thompson again. And that one's not going to spin the right way.
I tell you, Jared, he's a likely type, McGovern, is he? He's not quite as big as his brother, but he's leading up. His work rate is absolutely brilliant down here.
Moons, would you send Riewoldt back now just to try and steady things up a little bit? I know they want to score and that sort of stuff, but Adelaide at the moment, with the control they've got of the game, he went back with the last 2 minutes in that first quarter. Do they need to change that a little bit more during the middle part of quarters as well?
Look, they may have to, John, but their biggest concern down here, we talked about their tackling numbers, it's just they're just not prepared to put in the effort at the moment. They want the nice, easy ball on the outside. Adelaide are just being harder, and they're being more ferocious at the contest at the moment.
Hampson got both hands to that one. Couldn't drag it down. Takes front position, wins it again. Cochin there to get the reward, spun out of trouble. Was under some duress, but he found Hooley. Positive move by the Tigers. Rioli trying to have an impact, but everywhere he looked there was white jumpers. And just the sheer weight of numbers working for Adelaide there. Bit of a waiting game. No one wanted to kick. Seedsman feeding it back down. Smith happy to accept it from Crouch. Bangs it up for Walker. And Rance came late, but he was up. Betts was down. Out of bounds.
He made sure he got rid of that one, Alex Rance. He's had one already this quarter where he went up, attempted the marks, spilled to the ground. Eddie Betts kicks the goal.
I tell you, John, if Eddie got on the end of that one, I think that might have been the last time we see Rance come third man across.
I reckon you're right.
Scotty Thompson, powerful force. Maybe overscrewed the kick, but it's still there. And now it's killed.
It's almost, from a physics perspective, John, it's almost impossible for that one to go through if you're spinning the ball away from the goal. Looked like Tex Walker was in a reasonably good spot there just to spot up a pass.
Bring it in, please.
Had a few shots this quarter, Scotty Thompson. Kick goes back to halfback. Menadue, it was well worked with Asprey. Walker gets up a little sore. Rioli handballing it. There was no margin for error there at all, and Adelaide have won the ball back.
Geez, their pressure's been terrific, Adelaide.
Atkins had the dancing feet. Lions heading towards goal and heading towards Eddie.
Oh, that is a great kick. and a brilliant mark and a fantastic passage of play by the Crows to get the ball back. The miniature handball looked as if it was too much of a speculator, as you describe it, Hutto.
Eddie's running, snapping and going. Crows running rampant at Eddie had.
And on this occasion, Jono, you've got the physics working for you. The ball's actually swinging in towards the goal.
Well, he just loves that brawl where he's got 10 metres around him now, Eddie Betts, because he does take a lot of ball towards the boundary line. Because of his high skill, he's able to have an accurate shot at goal for his standard. That's where they won the ball back on centre wing. Eddie Betts just needed a metre there on Rance and use that advantage just to snap it around here, play on quickly and kick the goal.
Nice kick from Lyons, or nice passage of play by Lyons, who's come into the game today.
6-4 from turnovers, and they're turning it over around the logo there. You can see the logo right in the middle of the ground, both sides, Toyota and the AFL logos.
Eddie Betts with 2 goals after 5 last week.
Well, just 3 in the Tigers forward line now. They are really stacking the back line. Rory Laird is dominating proceedings.
Seedsman, he can link up with Lever or go on his own steam. Decides to kick instead. It's got Thompson. Jenkins hasn't had a massive impact. Came for the back. Cotchin. He loves to just turn through and try and kick the ball away from danger. They work it okay with Allison Rioli under some duress. Kicks it back to a 1v1 on the wing. Free kick.
And back she goes again. It's a fair point to make, though. Both Jenkins and Taylor Walker really not significant factors in this match to date.
Haven't had to be, really, have they?
Well, this is dangerous. Just don't want to give away an easy shot at goal. You've got the game in your control, and here comes the opportunity for the Tigers.
Rioli to Lloyd.
Yeah, that was just the kick of a young player that really let it go wide. Game in their control.
On your line, he's running them up.
And they stick one up the middle of the ground with an outnumber.
So Lloyd.
Yeah, live with me here.
Kicked 2 goals in 1 in his 2 matches this year. That one's online and it is staying there. Just the tonic for the Tigers.
Well, they needed that. They needed it just to steady it for themselves. They're trying to roll players back to try and wrestle back some control. There's Laird there. He had Lever out to the right and Talia for a short as well to keep control of the ball. Opted for the tough kick down the middle. Richmond were all over it. Edwards came in with a big jump and a big spoil. And then their forwards were away. And that's the shot in the end from Lloyd. The third eye straight over the goal umpire's hat.
So goal kick by Lloyd. They're amazing numbers, Jared. 66 kicks, Richmond, and 94 handballs.
Yeah, well, they're trying to work their way through the congestion with the hands. And it's not working at the moment because they are getting dragged down by ferocious tackling by Adelaide.
Sloan lofts it high, and Lennon on the job takes the mark.
Well, Jenkins has got to read that better. He's got to crash a pack there. I know he's being manhandled, but
thank you.
It's a good win out of the centre that's really come to nothing for the Crows.
Boston delayed the kick and then went to the short option anyway.
We've got some options on the other side of the ground if they try and get it there. We've got the 2-on-1. Trying to...
could have been disastrous. Still might be. Crash into Eddie. And Lyons will kick the goal.
Tell you what, they manned the mark so well then. First it was Miller, the young player. Then it was his captain, Tex Walker, comes up, puts pressure on the mark, creates the smother. Then Eddie Betts comes over and lays a big tackle, spills out goal to Adelaide. That's how easy it was. Tex Walker here comes in on the play on. Didn't give up on it, creates the smother. And then they've got numbers around the contest again. And another goal. But it really did start with Miller, their young player. The first kick, he was able to slow Richmond down.
Well, those turnover numbers, what it's generating for the Crows.
The inside 50 count is now just getting really lopsided. 28-16.
Back in the middle. They're pouring it on the Adelaide Crows. 33 points between these two sides. Miles, again, just slightly off. And then the fumble. It's contagious. Hooley to himself. Can he find a path? No is the definitive answer. And the Crows are running again. Seedsman takes it from Lyons. Next up, McKay. Eddie in the pocket.
Well,
Taylor at full forward.
Brilliant vision.
Over to you, Skip.
That was, look, as much as Tex Walker did the right thing, and it was as much as McKay's kick was superb, Eddie's charge to the pocket is the one that sucked the players away, Jono, which allowed them to get that nice open space.
They're just power running a lot better than Richmond at the moment. Hooley fumbled on the wing here, went back to win it again, fumbled again. Adelaide's numbers can't, the way they've got numbers around the footy today, you cannot second grab a ball, otherwise it results in this.
And that. Adelaide lead by 39.
Well, he's absolutely slaughtered that one. Tex Walker straight through the middle, absolutely smashed it, didn't he? Let's have a look at
but look at the run
space
here.
It's created by Eddie.
There's the turnover, and then you've just got run. You've got power run from there. You've got power run from McKay. Then you've got Eddie Betts coming to the pocket, Jared, and look at Walker just work his way out into the middle of the ground, the corridor.
All started in the middle. They had the ball. They fumbled it. In trouble, Tigers.
Jono, you do love seeing a forward line that works so well together. Not one person really runs into each other in Adelaide. They block for each other. They create space for each other. It's a fantastic looking forward line at the moment.
We just saw the pressure gauge. You're guaranteed a win if you're plus 10. At the moment, the Tigers are minus 42.
Yeah.
They're not good numbers.
No.
That's it, hold. Thanks, Richard. Hold. Stay square.
McIntosh from half back. Tiger defence under siege right now. Really asking an enormous amount of Trent Cotchin there in the air. Couldn't get the job done against two Adelaide Crows players, both taller than him. And it's over the line and out of bounds. Taylor Walker not dominating but playing his part. 1 goal, 2 in that cohesive forward line. Hampson's been working hard in the ruck, but Sloane's going to take it away.
Well played, Sloane.
Seedsman's giving them some dash. Short was able to cut his run. And well done.
Well, that's what they want from the Tigers. You want more of that as displayed by a kid in his second game.
Maybe you want more energy around that second game or whatever it is for the young fella. And you've got Grigg who goes over to pick him up. You want more around him. Create some spirit, some energy when you're one of your youngest players who kicks 3 on debut does a chase down tackle like that.
Miles to Grigg. Cotchin. Snook it against the line. Short. And again, the ball comes out. Cotchin frustrated. Crouch kicks it forward. Tracked back by McIntosh. Lennon has been redeployed into defence in this quarter. That's a clean kick on the way out. And it finds Alice. Tigers fans, you can hear them just urging on their team now. Keep control of the footy. Up to half forward. Well, that's not control of the footy. Talia intercepts the Alice kick.
This has been good, this Sam Jacobs being a link player for them. He's helped fill the void of Tommy Lynch.
Crouch marks at half back.
They look better though, Jono, when they kick the ball a little bit longer, the Tigers.
It just allows them... They do, no question. Instead of going backwards and around, I agree with you, Jared. It's just the execution of a player that should be able to kick a 50-metre drop punt and give your forward a chance, rather than what we're seeing is just that the easy butchering of the ball and the turnovers.
Well, make a call on that one, huh?
Well, he hasn't. I thought it might have been a Tiger mark player in front.
Well, I think Jug Lever didn't see any option, so he just banged it up in the air. And once again, well, that's a better turnover from the Tigers, gives them a chance.
Alice sends it skyward again. Jack Revolt needs to leap. Was he pushed? Umpire says no. Cotchin had an impact. Edwards trying to get back to him. There's the skipper, being a skipper.
Yeah, excellent. Really was. He 2 good efforts from Cotchin. Charged in front and square. Came from about 30 metres away. Hit it with some force. You see him there at the top of screen. Hits this one with some speed. Gets a hand in there. And in the end, it was Edwards who was able to find him again with a pretty good handball over the top, Jared.
Yeah, it was a smart bit of play all round here from the Tigers. Good tap. Half a shovel, but you'd pay that as a handball. And a good goal by the captain.
Straight off the ground for Trent Cotchin. So they've kicked 3 goals in this quarter, which still has 6 minutes remaining. Problem is, they've given up 6 goals, 2 at the other end.
I know they like to keep Edwards in that forward 50, and you can see why. There was the value, but the ball just hasn't been getting down there. Inside 50s are currently 31-17. Is it time to get him up the ground a bit?
I'd play him on a wing.
Particularly with Cochin on the bench.
Yep, I'd be pushing him to the wing and letting him run around.
Lloyd did well. Looked like he belonged there in the middle. Won the clearance on his own steam. Kicked it out for Alice. An interesting trajectory of the ball. Alice kicks them inside 50. Vickery.
That's better.
They're coming, the Tigers.
That's better play. Better play from Alice out in his own. Got the ball. Won the ball well, and great kick. Lloyd's the one they've pushed into the middle. Cochin goes off for rest, so they've had to push one of their smaller forwards in.
You saw here, Vickery had his legs taken out from under him, so his back's very sore.
Which is a great mark, though.
It was a strong grab. Don't worry about that. But the way he walked back,
he's actually got he's got a lot of tape on his back too, Jono. So he's
keen on this
interesting to see if he can lift his leg on here.
Trying to put all that out of his mind. Ty Vickery. Mechanical, but beautifully executed. He can lift one arm in triumph. It's a goal.
Good effort that, Jared. I thought I was nervous with him going for that set shot. The way he walked back to have the shot, he could hardly move after a big grab.
Well, you're moving markets at the moment with your predictions, so we all jumped off, Jono, on basis of that. And we are waiting for the Tats Lotto numbers. I'll be giving it the half-time break.
So am I. But you look there, I like Alice has pushed up to the wing, so I like that. The other wing, that's where I'd push Edwards to. Have some class on your wings to try and be the outlet, and some good inside 50s going forward.
Big 5 minutes here for the Tigers. Kicked a couple of goals in succession. Can they just squeeze their way back into this game in the next couple of minutes?
It wasn't looking likely, was it? But the margin cut to 27 with a couple of goals. Crouch, well done, Martin, but Adelaide able to win it back. Jacobs just fashioned the kick inside 50, and he's done a couple of nice things back there.
Benny Lennon.
Yep.
Just on the line there, just on the line, stop.
Yeah, he's taking a couple of marks now.
He does use the ball well generally.
Thanks, Paul, hold.
Short to Chaplin.
Stay there. Play on. You. Yep.
And Menadue.
Hey, Scott. Thanks out. Clear out.
Building, and they've got an out. Ellis is on his own on the centre wing.
Seen him.
Yeah, screaming for it. It's going to go via Lloyd to get there. He used his presence to open up some other options.
Again.
Ty said, get it to me long and I'll mark it, but he can't jump. He can't get his arms up. He's still there. They're still there and about. Lambert!
Here come the Tigers.
What a goal! 3 in a row to the Tigers. Not toothless anymore, Jono.
No, courage through the middle of the ground. That's what it was. Menadue pulled the trigger. He could see Alice out the far side. Couldn't get it to him, but Lloyd chipped in to take the mark. And then they had players out everywhere. And then front and square from Lambert. And that's a good goal. Well controlled. Great vision here from the third eye.
Great footwork from the goal line too.
Yes.
So you reckon Big Sauce Jacobs would like his time back there, Jared? Just a really poor effort to put some decent pressure on that tackle.
Yeah, I don't think he actually worked out whether he was going to focus on the ball or the man, and in the end, both eluded him.
Yep.
So 3 quick goals, and it's back to 21 points. 4.5 minutes remaining in the half. Hampson down, Cochin back on the ground and getting it out to the wing. Bit of push, bit of shove. Umpire says no problems. Lambert, watch out. Here comes Rioli. Oh, Talia. All the way out though. Cochin, who's got the effort and the energy? McKay. Cochin brought him down. Lambert kicks them inside. Edwards marks. Do they keep going with the adrenaline? No. Yes. Quick kick into the pocket. Jack's turn. Got it. Revolt takes the mark.
What a turnaround, Jono.
This is huge. It really is, but it's forward momentum. They're getting better ball going forward. They're not coughing it up around the middle of the ground. Alice has pushed up a little bit. I thought Menadue's been good in the last couple of minutes as well to keep the ball going forward.
History says he's a pretty fair chance from here, Jack Revolt.
He's not going to miss right, that's for sure.
10th year as a Tiger. 14 goals in 9 games against Adelaide. It's hard against Daniel Talia. Oh, he's hit the post.
Well, that's where he missed his 2 shots to the left. It's disappointing because momentum's been huge in this game, and Adelaide and Richmond have got all of it at the minute.
No wonder he's cursing after missing that shot.
You just hope. Normally the way it works in footy is that You miss ones like that, the opposition can get down the other end and break your heart.
Adelaide having a hard time just maintaining possession at the moment. Let's rush back to the wing. Important one-on-one. Hooley and Betts. Good combat. And he gets it well. Hooley, but Betts, he's never out of it, Eddie. He's turned it over for them.
Jenkins. What happens?
Jenkins.
Always.
And just a matter of time, bend over, pick it up, have a little look in the review mirror, and then slam it up into the corporate boxes.
Well, prior to that passage of play, the Adelaide Crows had just been on starvation corner. They hadn't touched the ball for about 6 or 7 minutes, and Richmond were just controlling the match, and then all of a sudden just one really good effort down back here. That's a territory kick, but this is the ball. That little nudge there from Eddie created enough delay and enough pressure for them to turn it over. Brilliant play.
What Adelaide are doing well is one player to the tackler. Make that player make the effective tackle, not two in there. If Eddie had gone to tackle as well, Richmond actually cleared that. He stepped aside knowing Walker was going to lay a tackle. Then he was able to put the second one on. Pressure builds, Jenkins out the back.
Look at those tackle numbers for the quarter. Continue to grow. Lyons Simpson inside 50. Asprey on the job.
Another centre clearance. It really, if it doesn't hit a target, it just comes back and it's dangerous.
Thank you.
Corey Ellis.
Tex had 3 on him on that occasion. He's the last bloke you go to if there's 3 on 1. That's a man.
Down the line it was Jacobs, no mark, Ellis, Vickery by hand to Hampson. He went straight into a brick wall, and he's done well to fight on. Lloyd's done enough to get it to Cochin. Vickery says you're in the clear, hit a target, no problem, Skip. Straight out onto the wing. Menadue, Rioli for his first goal for the Tigers.
Yeah, players over the top. Look,
what they did well, they slide those half-backs down.
You know what they have done, and that's what they've done well. They've made the ground really wide, and they've kept their width, especially on the switch to play, Jared.
Well, it's a great switch by Cochin.
2 big misses, though, isn't it?
Yeah, they're huge misses. We know what happened the last time they missed the easy one. Adelaide went down and had to kick the goal through Jenkins. They've had all the momentum the last 10 minutes, the Tigers. The last 2 opportunities, though, they've had goals that have gone begging. Rioli with a miss there, had plays in the goal square, and Jack Rewalt with a miss pretty much from the goal square.
7 goals to 5. What a quarter it's been. Adelaide leads by 25 at the end of it, or close to the end of it. A minute 44 still to go. Was it high or low? Or it was low against Cochin.
I think it started okay, just slipped down as Douglas lost his feet.
Thank you, Todd.
Yeah, it was a cheeky move from Douglas, wasn't it, to take on Cochin in the pace department.
Scotty Thompson, another 10 disposals this quarter from him. Just racking them up. Lever, and it's the Crows' turn just to possess here. Talia. Lever running to give him the next option on the way out. Talia not particularly interested. Goes back for Brown. Just inching their way along the wing.
Be pretty happy just to maintain possession all the way through to the forward line and not give away any chance of an easy return goal.
The message has come from the bench, Jared, to make sure that they control the ball.
Not sure Thompson got the memo.
We're standing right next to the bench as well.
Cochin for Lambert. Rance had a little look. Alice going the wrong way. Realised that Hampson had his hands on his hips. He had to get them off quickly. Kicks to half forward. Talia again defying Revo. Great battle between those two. Thompson, Revo keeps going, straining every sinew, gets through, shows leadership. Handball to Lambert, they're inside 50. Thrilling last 30 seconds. Vickery started behind, put the big tackle on Hardigan. Miles slips out. Rioli, the Rioli name, all over it here. A handball, he waits. Oh, he couldn't get it clear, Menadue. And they just can't quite get the job done, the Tigers. They might get one last chance. No, it's an Adelaide free.
Yeah, held on to. Lambert grabbed the back of his jumper.
And Menadue just didn't quite come together for him.
They gave them 3 goes, though, the Crows. 33-minute quarter. I don't think it's been a long one, nearly 34.
7 goals to 5. No wonder there's players looking like that. Jack Revo totally exhausted. And a very fresh Cam Mooney is going out onto the ground to have a chat to one of the players and get us an insight into what has been going on in the first half. As we said that quarter, 12 inside 50s, Richmond for 5 goals. Sorry, 13 for 5 goals. Adelaide 19 entries for 7 goals. Moons.
Well, Raws, I mean, fantastic start for you guys. You really shut the crowd out, but they came back in that quarter, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. I think their pressure lifted and our ability to surge it forward probably dropped away. And our forwards wanted in there one-on-one, so we've got to give it to them.
What about the fact that you guys are getting so many turnovers and scoring off that? You must be proud of the pressure that you are putting on.
Yeah, that's what got us going in the first half. I mean, our pressure at them, we'll continue to look for high intensity in that area. And if we keep getting that and keep surging it forward, I reckon we'll be right.
Good on you, Ross. Thanks, mate.
Well, what a second quarter, what a half. It's Adelaide by 25, Sandy. We can't wait for the second half already.
No, Hutto, you're quite right. We've got a couple of very good games here on Super Saturday. A 12-goal blast in that second term, and the margin is 25 points in favour of Adelaide. We'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to check out the highlights of St Kilda and Collingwood playing their hearts out at the MCG.
It's half-time between the Saints and the Magpies on Jeep Super Saturday.
There's been action everywhere you look today. The third eye has got us nice and close. And the Tigers, certainly the message is going to be strong from their coaches, as it was at quarter time and again at half-time. Just late in that quarter, they were able to get back into the game, and the Crows deflating the Tiger fans after they saw some terrific goals like that. But that late goal really hurts. And the margin is 25 points as we look ahead to the start of this third term. What are you expecting at the start of this quarter, Jono?
Well, I'm expecting Richmond to build a bit more pressure than what we've seen. That's what's cost them in the first half of the game. They need to get that momentum back off the Adelaide Crows, who controlled it in the first half. And they need to start scoring from turnovers on a more regular basis.
They need a lift, big lift from Dustin Martin. He's one of their match winners. He's had just 3 kicks. That's subpar for him by a long, long way. He needs some help, Trent Cotchin, and Martin's the man with the help. They need a lift out of the likes of Lambert and Lloyd. Not true midfielders, but certainly capable of going in. Jack Riewoldt hasn't had much of an impact. So they've got some big players, Jono, that desperately need to lift, in particular Martin and Riewoldt. Certainly this game is not over. Tex Walker's been effective without being dominant, but collectively their forward line is playing much more cohesively, getting more opportunities, of course. They've got to get the inside 50 number addressed, dominated there, 34 to 24 in the first half. But Martin's the man. If the Tigers are to win, he needs to be BOG in the second half.
And the second half is about to begin here at Etihad Stadium. Bang, you heard the thump, and we're underway in the third term. Hampson, Sloan, Jacobs with the first meaningful disposal. Jenkins couldn't control it. Cotchin had to serve one of his own, and then the enemy. And the Crows are able to pounce. Nowhere to go for Riley Knight. Eventually found his man. Lever.
Oh, he's poked it into a hole nicely.
Oh, not sure about the cohesion there between the two Adelaide players.
Well, you are. There was none.
Yeah, that's right. Eddie Betts needed to hold back a little bit on that. McKay was the one who had the...
He had the sit. Eddie should have done the shepherding.
Yep.
In the end, he picked it up too late. This would have been a nice start by the Crows.
Thank you.
Miles at half-back. He's had just 2 kicks. 10 handballs.
It's very much the way of the world at the moment. Cotchin's the same, 8 to 13.
Hurley prepared to kick.
That's the big one.
That's the danger, though, isn't it? That is a dangerous kick, but it's also the effective kick if he can hit the target.
Edwards the next link through the middle. This side bit.
They need Edwards up the ground. I think they haven't got enough midfield dominance to have him basically just hanging around deep inside forward 50.
And they do have Lloyd and Rioli, and I know he's only young, but they do have players in that position, and Short.
And Lambert.
Who can play in that forward half. Asprey. Goes 1 versus 1 down the line with Riewoldt, but others were on the job like Cheney. At the back of the pack, though, Lloyd can put it to the advantage of Hampson. It's not going to be a mark for the Tigers. And Seedsman is right on the job there. And now they're running. Brodie Smith powering away out of defence. Places the ball in front of Eddie.
That's another great kick-mark combination. Got away with one there, though. Cheney went for the fly and missed everything.
Taylor Walker Oh, they're right out the back. Get it in deep. Can to Sloan. It's a monstrous kick.
Oh, great defence too, which is unfortunate because it was a brilliant torpedo.
Rory Sloane's a little bit sore there.
That torpedo deserved the goal, Jono.
It was a massive launch, one-step torpedo.
Kane Lambert, what a spoil.
Yeah, important spoil.
And just coast-to-coast movement, no goal, but Tigers incapable of getting it in and keeping it in.
Asprey was desperate to handball to McIntosh, completely snookered, and did well to feign that he was not interested in getting that over the boundary line as a haven.
What do you think, Jono? Was that deliberate or not?
No, well, I didn't think it was. I thought he went to perform that handball just as he was getting tackled, but the tackle's the important one. I think you've got to tackle back inboard these days.
Sloan.
Brilliant.
Able to work the ball back. Perfect strike under the circumstances.
Pressure once again, Jono. They kept it in. The ball was coming out. They get a stoppage. Jacobs, a nice little tap. Have a look at this for a combination, Sarte. Just a nice little one down to the bottom there. Flick it out to Sloan, who's not even getting any pressure whatsoever. And then straight through the goals.
No, their forwards aren't coming up, putting any pressure behind the stoppage at the moment. Adelaide are too clean in there. And they've just got players setting up everywhere. That's why it's so effective.
Must get the next goal, Tigers.
Yeah, they're on their heels in the stoppage, aren't they, Richmond? Where you look at Adelaide there with Crouch on the toes, moving through it.
Well, you're in your defensive 50, and you've got no one covering the sweeper.
Yeah.
Jacobs goes again. Crouch. Edwards.
Good handball, poked it through.
He's in the middle now. Grigg, Vickery, bit of a standoff back there with Talia. He did so well to win the ball. Tyrone, he misses the shot. And they're the little half chances Richmond need to take from here. 32 points adrift. Lever. Goes for Jacobs. Lines in support. Hampson.
Well done, Hampson. He is really fighting hard. He's up against an A-grade ruckman, and he's hanging in there.
Tips it up. Vickery. It was a challenging kick, but it's dropped well for him.
That was a great kick. It was a great kick. Very accurate shot at goal. It's within his range. He doesn't have to stretch it.
Keep coming. That's the line.
Been a good contributor for them. He's a reliable source of goals. He's kicked 30 goals from his last 11 matches.
But he's never had a shot from this spot.
Move on.
It ranks him 12th in the league over that period, despite missing 2 goals. So productive. But right now, as we said, they've got to turn the half chances into gold, and saying mighty close.
Well, he's had the last 2. Came in, dribble kick, he missed it. It was a tough one, so he just had to get the ball on boot as quick as possible. That one there, hitting the post, and they had Rewalt hit the post at the end of the second quarter, along with Rioli with his snap. So they've had 4 opportunities where they should have kicked goals, Richmond.
Well, they went long the last time to Jacobs, and it didn't work out. This time they're going to chip it round, going short. They've got one up the middle, but playing conservatively at the moment. That boy is a big kick.
Smith sends it to the wing. The Flyers all got a look at it. Rance had his wings clipped there by McKay, who went for a bit of a ride.
It's a good option to get it to Brodie Smith. He can launch the football.
Yeah, they've got a few, haven't they, the Crows? Then you had Sloan and Walker.
That was a budget.
Cochin.
Seedsman as well as the other one.
Martin and the Manaju. Good little work with Grigg to get himself into the clear. All the groundwork done. Now he just needs to finish. Drags it left.
Got to get on their bikes here, the Crows. I know they've got a 31-point lead, but they just look as if they're the ones on the back heels now. You can't just protect your lead. You've got to snuff out any chance that the opposition have got.
Good promise.
They're probably 2 goals away from doing that, really just destroying Tigers emotionally.
It's a little bit sloppy by hand, and Lever hasn't. Oh, they stayed off Taylor. He turns inside. Now the puts on the other foot with the Tiger defence.
Here he comes.
Feeling the stress, but Rance leading the Tiger defensive army strongly, getting it to Ellis, sending it in towards Vickery again. They all fly, including Edward Smith at the back, sweeping through. Laird punches it for Cheney. Next handball puts Smith under some danger, and the boundary line's there. He walks over.
Yeah, it's a good combination, isn't it? If you get that Rewalt coming at him over the top. He had Ellis over the top, but he had every right to have a shot at the goal. Ooh, a little bit of a spray from Jack there. I'm not sure whether I like that too much, Jared.
Ellis
player.
And Ellis and McIntosh. Lloyd, bit of a stand-up with Laird. What a player. Takes the mark.
Good rebound.
Had Riley Knight running for him.
Open.
Now Seedsman charging down the ground.
Stick it to Tex.
Jenkins could still be the option. He went for him. He'll mark it. He had Tex to his right, Eddie to his left. The band still together as he puts it through.
Great rebound footage, Jono.
Yeah, their run, their coast-to-coast work has been so impressive. We highlighted it at halftime. And
all starts deep.
It does, very deep, and then they go. That's a good one-on-one mark by Laird, and then they're away. They've just got runners everywhere. They've got players that use the ball well, long, and Seedsman's one of those, and straight over the top. And then they've just got their forwards. Look at that, too easy. Speed of ball movement. It's really impressive from Adelaide. It's catching Richmond out very often.
Got some weapons, haven't they? Lots of multiple goal kickers, Adelaide. Sloan, Lyons, Douglas, kick 2, Betts 2, and now Taylor Walker also has 2 to his name. It helped him to add up to 13 goals in total and a 6-goal lead, and they want more. McKay with a driving ball. Jenkins just slightly too far under it. Rance went to ground. And McIntosh, who's played in defence today, clearing kick to half-back.
Good punch.
Still in for Ellis. Atkins saw him over.
Yeah, it's a good defensive punch. And a little bit of interest there from Tex.
So 36 points. As you said, it's a high-powered game, so you can't write Richmond out yet, but they just can't afford to concede any more goals. We're still at a relatively early stage of the third term.
Well, this is where they scored last time with Rory Sloan. So see if Richmond just set up better in this situation. They got first hands on it. That's a start point. From a defensive stoppage, you can see the ranking points. Cochin and Hawley for Richmond lead the way. Alex Rance in there. Seedsman, the #1 player, ranked player for Adelaide at the moment.
Thompson, Cochin, fought hard, not rewarded.
I think what we'd see in the rankings points, despite the fact that the Tigers have got the top 3 players, I reckon there'd be a gap of about 15 Crows players in between them and the Tigers next.
Deemed high and short.
Push out, please, Scott. Play on.
Ellis continues to rack up the numbers. Misfires on the kick. Any damage? Not yet. Rance to try and clean it up. Powerful boot.
Good kick.
Back to the wing. McIntosh has worked up there. Seedsman standing guard. Chips it wide. Chaplin being pursued by Riley Knight. Got clear enough.
Edwards.
Hooley gets it deep. Watch out for Lloyd. He's launched. What a mark from Lloyd. Has the Tiger fans on their feet. And now the all-important conversion comes up. There's the room to run around and make the most of it. A mark like that deserved a goal.
Well, it's a good rebound. It wasn't quick, but it was reasonably pure. But it did take one of the great marks of the year to date to grab a shot at goal. Just getting back to those ranking points, the top 3 players are Richmond players, and then they've got 1 in the next 10. So a fairly even spread by the Crows. But that mark and goal, Jono, that's just enough to keep them within striking distance.
Yeah, well, he didn't go for a leap in the first quarter, Lloyd. He had a couple of opportunities, decided to go front and square. He's got to jump on him. He's got to mark. He can take a big grab. Here it is in real time. So you can just see the leap, the time, the judgment. Big grab, big goal to finish as well.
13-8 to 8-8. There's still a big chance.
Well, they're surging again. Thump forward by Miles. He might put another one. The fist went to ground. Genie, Tiger fans really getting the roar going. Trying to put the pressure on the Adelaide Crows.
Another good defensive score though by the Crows.
Now, what can Jack Riewoldt bring in this third quarter?
Well, that's why they're still in this game. Martin and Riewoldt are yet to really have a major impact.
Hampson tapped it down. Trying to scrounge one out of there. Jacobs. Betts versus Rance. Betts stays afloat. He fumbled. He overran it. Brilliant by McGovern, but not so. Ham-fisted effort to handball. Low kick. Picked up by Martin. Chipping. Here's Jack. Going hard back the other way. Was Lennon. Play on Laird. They're coming from all angles. Whistle. And it's a Richmond free.
Called a throw in the finish. Or illegal disposal.
No one was quite sure.
No.
It's Short, who kicked 3 goals last week. We'll go back for a critical kick here for Richmond. Kicked a goal a few moments ago. And now to build on that and try and work their way back into this game once more. Jaden Short, we've got the view from right behind, and that's not a pretty view for Tiger fans. Some critical misses.
Yeah, they are. They really are, Hutto. You know, that brings it back to 24 points. All of a sudden, it puts you in a position to springboard in the last 10 minutes of this quarter. But if you can keep that margin to three-quarter time, you're in the contest. You're away. Easy misses just really deflate you.
Couldn't quite take it, Miller. Has another crack. Started the game well, but quiet after that. Chips to the wing. Sloan just over his head for Lyons.
Good work by Sloan. Then he knew exactly where his teammate was.
Miller tries to rectify the situation. Lucky.
Certainly a duck there, but he got away with it.
Chaplin doing his best to slow him.
He's lucky he could give away 50 here.
Troy, just get up just get up and stand them up. Thank you.
And he wanted to.
And he gets him anyway.
Miller putting on a dancing display there, and then putting it on the chest of Tay.
He'll kick this.
Kick the goal too.
Yes, this would be huge. Well done, Miller.
It's a fine line between doing too much and letting it hang out.
This is going to be big. It's going to be big. It's huge.
Great kick, Tex. Just what the doctor ordered for the Crows. The captain steps up on the back of their young star. And that was just a great combination. Here's Miller. He gets assaulted, dragged down. A little bit of dislocation work there. But he was good enough.
But this went on for long enough for Richmond to get enough players back defensively. They leave the corridor open.
Get off him, says Sauce.
Look at that. 1-2, Chaplin. And then the 3 inboard. And then
hit the target.
Look at that, right down the corridor. Space to burn when he was held up for some time, Miller. And then big Tex. He's got the big leg. He's kicked that 65.
Good jump by Jenkins in the ruck.
And who's going to take control of the footy? It's Grigg. And the Tiger defence, or the Adelaide defence, right on the job. They're well placed to go back and take it out of the air. Smith wins the genuine one-on-one. This Bashahuli in the middle. There's Tiger numbers. Miles. The Crows trying to work hard to cover their men and block the space on the way out. Rance challenges Riewoldt. Got the body, got the feel of Hardigan. Takes it, wants to give to the captain. I'm not sure he actually wanted it, Cochin. Chips it up to the 50. And the outstretched hands of Shane Edwards, who's just too far out to score.
Got to push some down here, the Crows. They've got some spares. And that's close enough for Jack to have a shot.
Poor Don Pike feeling it. He'd be very pleased with his team, but
I think it goes back to Brodie Smith. He's such a good kick. He didn't need to go to a one-on-one. There were other options on the other side of the ground that were spared. There's no hurry for the Crows. You can see there a tendency to push it to the right.
So here's Jack. You talk about moments in matches and leadership. You talk about shots like this. They're tough. And unfortunately, just too tough on that occasion for for Jack Revolt. Richmond remain 34 points behind, and Damien Hardwick, hands on his face, barely looking. It's tough going right now for the Tigers. This Adelaide team, though, we've got to celebrate what they've brought here today. Lost their champion at the end of last season.
50, gee, this is just letting him off the hook, Jono. Young players making inexperienced mistakes.
Mark's here. Your end zone, I'm mid zone. Okay.
Yeah, that's 50. Cuts in on the angle. He's got to hold his line when manning the mark.
So Cheney.
Yep.
Quick revision of the decision and gets it off to Talia, who just bombs. McGovern, oh, he's got the McGovern hands.
Thank you.
It's a bit confusing when one's called Mitch and another one's called Mitch, but nevertheless, they're both great marks.
Vickery in defence, and Eddie's on the spot. He's where he should be, Eddie. He's kicking goals again. That's three.
It's been all-encompassing, hasn't it? All-consuming has been Eddie. He's been up the ground taking marks. In some ways, he's helped fill the Tom Lynch role. And yet he's also been ducking out the back and roving it off the pack.
Look at this here. You can see, look how far away he starts his work from. Gets in front of Hawley, and there's no, once he's goal side, he just reads it off the pack so well. He knows exactly where this ball's going to drop, and he knows where Vickery's trying to spoil it through, and he just gets to the right spot.
Yes, Eddie.
Yeah, he just knew Vickery's going to try and put this through the points. If he doesn't get enough, I know where to go. And it falls straight in his lap.
Right now I can see a McGovern on McGovern scenario when the Crows play the Eagles.
Betts and Walker both with 3 goals. Game high 40-point margin now for Richmond to deal with. And the Adelaide Crows have put together, without Tom Lynch and without Brad Crouch, who also withdrew yesterday, put together a fine performance. Miles sends Richmond forward. They're still trying hard. Lennon, that'll help. Can break clear. In fact, it's Rioli for his first goal for the Tigers. One to celebrate. There's more to come.
Well, a good return and a good reply by the Tigers out of the middle into a pack, and Rioli comes charging through. Here it is. You see it unfold. He's front and centre, and then he gets on his bike, reads it beautifully.
That's a great read.
And most importantly, Jono, he didn't dribble it.
Ah, yes, he knew what was around. He knew he had speed to burn. Made sure of it, Jared.
And a bit of a lesson there for young Lever. It's okay to put your fist on it, but you can't smack it. You've got to, the best defending spoilers always hit it away from oncoming opposition. And that one just laid it at his feet.
Pick 15 in last year's draft. And kicks the goal to keep the Tigers in the hunt. They're winning the much prized contested possessions in this quarter. But Adelaide can look at the scoreboard with the numbers that really matter. 34 points the difference.
Well, it was an important goal because you look at the one short missed earlier in this quarter. That would have brought it back to about 22, 23 points, I think. Adelaide went on the back of that and scored. Took it out to 40 points. So these next couple of movements forward for Richmond are so critical for this game.
Miles got them going. He's been working hard in this quarter, Miles. They've got numbers that time and rewarded for the hard pressure and good application from the Tigers. Dustin Martin, he's the man that they need. 13 disposals only for the day. He passed it to Eddie. He was looking for Edwards, but he wouldn't have known it.
Well, that really has been a bit deflating for the Tigers. They were up and about there. I thought Rewald was a little bit lucky. His looked like a scoop. You've got to recognise the pressure that's coming now. The Crows just get that ball and hold some territory. Take the air out of the Tigers' sails.
Brown's kick up to the ring, and eventually they can get some run, and Brodie Smith's on the move again. Tries to link with Douglas. Next handball important. Couldn't get it. Well done, Greg. Shut down.
They need to continually play fast footy here, the Crows. They've got the game where they want it. 6 minutes, kill the clock, kill the quarter. Just slowly build towards another one.
Jenkins, good combination with Thompson, but
push out.
Tigers defence through Lennon, and a crisp kick too for Martin. You can keep it along this wing. It wasn't a perfect kick, Lamb, but He's got good agility here, you would think, on Talia, but he misses the handball target, Lloyd. Cheney, and they can feast here, the Crows. Lyon's got to watch out for his teammate. And he keeps it low. Oh, he's tried to duck out the back jack there, Taylor Walker. Now he falls to ground. Trying to get a self-inflicted in the back, if that's possible. Slapped it away, and McIntosh with a big, strong kick. Tough for Rioli.
Cheney's so good at that. He is so good at blocking his opponent out. He identifies his teammate around him.
What a player he's going to be, Lever.
He was very good in the showdown last week. Big game, young player, performed well.
Hardigan, they're on the advance again, the Crows.
And again, what a great kick out of that back line. They have got some fantastic boots down there.
Could have a shot here. Got 2 metres back.
Jenkins.
2 forward.
Not going to have a shot. Instead, sets it up. And Hampson did everything but mark. Walker, Vickery. Good adjustment there from the Tigers. McIntosh as they bound out of defence. Hooley. It's handball, handball, handball.
And well done there to Jenkins for not taking the shot.
You know what it was too? It was a young player, Matt Crouch, yelling at him, stop, hold, don't go.
Eddie's passed it back outside. Smith, you know he'll make the distance. Sky high, he's kicked it. Oh, what a goal from Brodie Smith. A kicking clinic from the Adelaide Crows. 16-8, 104 to 9-10, 64.
Might have been the one to break them, Jono. A real chance now. Here's the tackle. But you just saw that centering kick. There was nobody actually alert. No one was awake. I think it was almost this level of concession by the Tigers, which is dangerous. No one reacting to the kick. And then bang, what a great kick.
Third time we've seen Eddie Betts with a run-down tackle from behind, resulting in a goal to the Adelaide Crows. He puts pressure on everywhere. We talk about him a lot, Eddie Betts, but so we should. We should celebrate what he's been able to bring to the game over the last 12 months or so.
Everyone having a run and jump at it. Thompson strikes it out of the middle. He's been doing it for 288 games for both Melbourne and Adelaide. Sloan blasts his way through. Laird, just kick it deep and enjoy the show, everyone. Good courage from Lennon, but again, they don't take that mark in the last line, and the danger hasn't passed yet. They're swarming the Crows, waiting for this one to come out. Still waiting, the pressure on. There it is, it's out. Thompson, stand start, fantastic finish. Another one, they're racking him up, the Adelaide Crows. Set him up and knock him down.
Great response. Looked like they may be mentally broken now. It's going to be an enormous challenge for that man and his charges to find some energy from somewhere, because they are just been out tackled, out gunned, out everything today, Jono. They've been superb, the Adelaide Crows. And this one really is a killer punch. They have just continuously been able to poke the ball out to the outer circle, and they've got so many good kicks in this side.
They maintain their shape, Adelaide, really well around that situation. They've got players going in, tackling hard, and the other Thompson's in and under play, but he knew that time, I've got others doing the work. I'll set up outside if it pops out the back to me. Perfect position to have a shot.
So there's the disparity in the inside 50s. 23 scoring shots to 19. But it's only 4 difference in the number of shots for goal, but a vastly different margin on the scoreboard. 46 points now, new game high for the Adelaide Crows.
Keep that meter, guys. Keep the meter. Come across.
Richmond have kicked 2 goals 5 in this quarter, and Adelaide 6 goals 2.
I'm all again, thank you.
And with that,
thanks, Camden. Thanks, Camden. Come on, thanks. So. On again, thank you. Let's roll. Keep that meter, please.
keep an eye here on Jacobs.
Oh, yeah.
Move across.
One that got squashed, and then he got caught as well. He just
almost hyperextended, because it was his wrist caught.
Stayed in the ruck for the moment.
Lay on. You.
A quick tour to Rory Atkins. Again, they've got the extra player. This time the mark is taken. Dustin Martin trying to show initiative. Kickstart them out of defence. With a bit of to and fro and getting it out wide. Lennon. Here's the trust his right boot. It's a beautiful kick for Menadue.
Thank you.
And a couple of players leading. Vickery wants it long. Menadue goes short instead.
Stay out, keep coming, keep coming. Thank you.
And Short's got it. Vickery still wants it deep, but
move it on.
It's on about 3 if he pops it up.
He's got Jacobs down there too, and that's the bloke you don't want to go to.
Oh, Hampson. We know he's not the best shot for goal. Big Sean Hampson, so even if he'd marked it, it was no certainty. Short.
Play on.
Good combat there with Seedsman, but the backup is all Adelaide. Brown and then...
Did well there. Didn't he? Pushed his legs, got himself across the line, touchdown, throw it in umpire.
So what is going to be the Richmond response in the last 2 minutes of the third and then into the final turn? The match is getting away from them, but they've got to keep cracking in. Asprey. Martin tries to take it on. Braced for the contact, which he knew was inevitable.
Okay, go. Over back here, please. Wait from here. Thank you. Yep.
2.5 minutes remaining in the third turn. Tigers have got to jag one from somewhere, but it's not looking likely. Again, Seedsman. Back to Lyons, over the top to McKay. All the groundwork done, and they've been finishing off so well in this quarter, but not this time.
Lucky then, very lucky out of that stoppage again. We've identified it a few times, Jared, but...
Yeah, Scotty Thompson and Crouch have had 8 apiece from stoppages.
There you go.
They've kicked 17 goals, Adelaide, and it's not even three-quarter time yet. Tough for Vickery. Talia. Shoveled it out short, had one go, now has another. Laird. Talia again as they try and get sorted from half back, and they will. There'll be no hurry now.
The first possession from stoppages. Adelaide have got the 3 top players. Thompson 8, Crouch 8, Douglas 7. Sloane's also got 5. And too many of them are setting up shots at goal.
Move it on.
Hampson actually winning the hit-outs in terms of individual ruckman. And that only tells some of the story. Menadue, and here is Hampson, decides to handball to Grigg, back to Alice. Revolt wanted it in short, and that wasn't a viable option for him, so instead it is short. Chaplin's pushed forward for the Tigers, frustration's growing. He comes up to the footy, but Hardigan got in the road. Edwards rode the bump well. Rioli puts a couple of steps on. It was terrific play. And now Lambert had to run around it. It's getting awfully tough for the Tigers. Closed out again. Cheney comes bounding away. Gets the handball to Lyons. In a row, they come streaming out. Thompson off the left, and it was a by some time sort of kick. It won't buy much. Lloyd, who took a standing mark and kicked a great goal in this quarter.
They're just trying to kill the 30 seconds here. The Crows had a few players just on their back of their heels here, Jono. They don't want to concede a goal. They've got the game well and truly in hand.
Tigers, on the other hand, if they were going to score a goal, had to be more direct.
I'll keep this. Yeah, mate.
Last chance. Got to go hard now.
And will he go? No, he won't. And that will just build the frustrations even more, and it's going to be cruel timing if they do win the footy, but that's been a difficulty in this quarter along that line. Adelaide by 47 points here at Etihad Stadium. Another brilliant quarter by the Crows, and they look headed for their second win of the season, unless the Tigers can turn this around next. Check your guides, but some great footy coming up. 17-9-1-11 Adelaide. Richmond 9-10-64 as we get ready for the final term. And it'll be interesting to hear from Cameron Mooney.
Well, Hutto, amazing. You talk about Adelaide and their goal-kicking ability, 17 goals up to three-quarter time. Well, 7 of those goals have come back from their defensive end, 4 from their defensive 50, 3 from their defensive midfield positionings through the ground. And this is what I'm talking about. Their run and carry through the middle of the ground. Smith, who's got a beautiful kick, we know. Seedsman, who I think is going to be a brilliant pickup if he can keep his body right. And you throw in Mackay and Laird. These guys, they get the ball at that half-back line, and they really do run and carry the ball through brilliantly well. And if they do keep it in there, they do turn it over, well, their tackling pressure has been absolutely outstanding today. 14 tackles inside 50 to this point. Absolutely brilliant, led by Eddie Betts.
Well, it's actually interesting, speaking about a couple of the boys you spoke about, just to set the scene, Adelaide have had less possessions than Richmond at this stage. Rory Laird has had the second most. Thompson's dominating, but he's only had 26, so he's not in the heading towards the 40s at this stage. But Brodie Smith also with 22, doing really well across the half-back line, and Seedsman's their 5th highest ball getter with 18 possessions. He has had a terrific day, and Sam Jacobs, I think, has been really good around the ground. I think it's been a good battle. Hampson's done a good job for Richmond as well, but they have picked up the ball at will across that half-back line.
They've just deflated themselves, Richmond, in terms of missing some easy shots at goal when it would have got the margin back to in the teens, early 20s,
yep.
And then that's when Adelaide have gone coast to coast, scored up the other end, and they've just deflated their own energy by not converting at the right times.
Tiger fans desperately hoping they'll get something early in this final term, and that's a good start. Hampson. It's a pretty open, deep 50. They just can't quite get it to those players. Lloyd stayed in it. Chaplin, as we said, has been moved forward. Alice tried to step through, back to Chaplin. A no-look handball. Edwards into the pocket. Lloyd. Lennon.
He called it.
Back into the middle.
It's a good kick. It's a nice kick, Lennon.
He has done some good things today. Menadue doesn't look like he's going to have the shots from Taylor Walker territory. He doesn't, just chips it up. Unfortunately, it's to the favour of the Crows. And Richard Duckus.
Anyone who read that, the 3 Crows.
Yeah, but there's only one bloke moving for Richmond. That was Rewald, and he was trying to work through about 8 Crows players. Everyone else was just standing around watching. There was no movement, no help to get each other out, the next forward out, no coming up to where the Crows spares were to lead from them. Like, they just weren't thinking about that situation of how to get a teammate out or themselves as a forward.
Crouch to the wing. Jenkins turns around, doesn't go in the air, left it to Jacobs. It's all Richmond at ground level.
They've got to push up and press up higher than perhaps they normally do, Jono, the Tigers. They like keeping blokes back for the fast break, and that's okay, but they've got to get the ball inside forward 50, play territory and get some scoreboard.
Cochin changed the angle, hoping for Rewald. Had 2 to combat as it hits the ground. Alice got it under his control. Chaplin, low percentage shot. Worth a crack, he misses.
It was worth a crack. He had really nothing inside. To get that ball that far back would have been a tough kick from Chaplin. Oh, there's Hardigan with some friendly fire from his teammate.
He's done a good job, Hardigan.
He has.
Once again, when you're half pregnant in the press, big holes open up, and that one was just straight up the middle. They're just kicking their way through it here, the Crows.
Miller up. Riley Knight takes the mark.
Caution to the wind for mine, Jono.
Yep.
18-man press. They get through, well, fair enough.
Jenkins. Good hard running again.
Oh, cop that.
Boy, can he kick. What a performance from Brodie Smith. He's had over 500 metres gained today. He's kicked 2 goals out of defence and 23 disposals in all at 92% kicking efficiency, if you don't mind, Jono.
Not bad at all, is it really? Well, you really got to own, especially here at Etihad Stadium, as you can see, we've seen throughout today that if you get around the logos there in good positioning, you can actually penetrate forward and be very effective and score quite quickly, which have Adelaide done a number of times.
Well, there you see it from just outside the 50. And it wasn't a high kick, it was a bullet.
Yep.
Metres gained.
But that's been the difference today. It's been Brodie Smith and Seedsman who have done a lot better job,
Rory Laird,
I think, than what Grigg has in terms of you know, that sort of matchup as well. So they're the ones that, when you look at it, would be up against each other. McIntosh is the other one. Camden McIntosh, only 290 metres gained today for a hard-running player for Richmond.
If there were super goals on offer, the Crows would be in front by even more than 52 points.
That's right.
Been lethal from outside 50 today. Tigers working overtime. Hard labour for them from defence. Skinning kick was a good one, wasn't it? Got through the air quickly to Hampson, and that means things can happen further down the ground. In the back.
Lucky.
Lennon.
I think most people agree with Don Pike there. It's an unfortunate rule in some ways. If a bloke runs you down from behind, someone legs collapse, you've got to stop, push him in the back in some ways. That's the game. But it's almost like a tackle and a fall in the back rather than a push.
It's kind of like Richmond haven't expected the expected in some ways. You've got to expect you're going to get run down in that situation. You've got to change pace and make a decision quickly. You've got to expect that as a player.
Good body work there from Jenkins.
Wasn't it? In front of Asprey. Takes the mark from half back.
He's got Walker long and a one out. Just lay it off to one of these super boots.
Okay, down the line. Rance should get there first and has enough around him to utilise. Martin is going to take an even more challenging kick. Puts on his signature move to try and get out of there. Lambert, they're getting deeper and deeper into trouble, but there's the outlet. Cochin.
High tackle, Richmond.
Atkins penalised for the spoil. That's barely the required distance.
No, it's not.
It's not. You're right. Greg.
Well, the mark strips at 12.5, and it didn't go about 8 metres.
Chaplin did well. Released the handball. Miles. Revolt. Degree of difficulty pretty high on this one, so he swings it back. Good instincts.
Great kick.
And Roy, the lucky man, in the right spot.
Good team play. Could have had a shot, but identified that he had teammates in the corridor. It's a big kick on the left side, and Rewalt was able to perform this quite effectively.
It's kick 2. And add 1 to that.
Well, there's 15 minutes of play remaining. They need really just to put 3 quick ones on the board, Jono. They really just have to have a 6 or 7 minute domination to breathe any sort of life into this game.
Yeah, well, it's critical. And look, this next centre bounce is where they need to try and respond on it. I think that they've got 1 back, they've got 2 back, then Adelaide take control through the middle of the ground again.
Let's go, boys.
There's those contested numbers, pretty much level over the day. Richmond in front in the final stanza. Hampson's battled on hard. What do you think they'll do once Marich is fit? Does he just come straight back in for Hampson?
Well, I think Hampson's been terrific in the actual hit-outs, but both of them struggle when they go forward in a meaningful way, so they're probably tied. Their hands are tied.
It's Rioli again for his second for the Tigers. Hits the spot.
Here we go, Jared. Couple in a row.
Well, you can see the Crows know that they're in that position mentally where essentially they've got the 4 points in the bag, but you only have to spend another 3 or 4 minutes sitting back, and all of a sudden the goals start to rack up and incredible comebacks can be born.
Rioli's done some nice things. He's had some good moments, especially in the second half of this contest. He's got a good step. He moves well.
Yeah, he's going to be a player.
Yeah, that's right. His front and square work is good, and that's what it's about as a young player. Look, yeah, he'd love to dominate and have his 20 and kick 3 or 4, but what we've seen today is a good, steady performance again from Rioli.
In fact, there's a couple of, 3 or 4 really sharp young kids out on the park. We're loving the work of Lever. Here come the Tigers again.
Marching out of the middle through Cochin, and now Revolt took the mark with ease. Does he just go back and stare it down here, Jack?
Yes.
You right there, boys? Thank you.
Well,
kick the goal now. Kick the goal now.
Gives the indication to the umpire that he is going to kick. Mark is right on the 50.
15 seconds, Jack.
Jack, it's going through his head. Thank you. And he didn't think he could get there in the end. Hampson might be able to do that.
And Don Pike is just starting to feel a bit uneasy. This is a good mark from Hampson. He's, if not Richmond's best player, he has been one of them.
Richmond fans know his record. His last 6 shots for goal have been behind. Hasn't kicked a goal in a couple of years.
This doesn't miss. He
did
from here.
In one season. He kicked 15 goals 4. Can you believe? He at one stage he was deadly accurate.
He won't miss
He's
this.
got a 10 on that right now for the Tigers. He puts it through. and the Tigers are coming.
He's happy. He's slightly relieved, but he's happy. And what he's happy about is he's basically understanding that he needs to be able to do this to maintain his spot when Marriage comes back.
Now the important thing is he's resting forward. Vickery's gone into the ruck against Jacobs. Vickery can't let it down now in the middle of the ground where Hampson was in control in this last quarter.
There's Big Ivan.
Pretty relaxed.
Just kicking back.
Yep.
They'll all start to get a little bit tough if they kick the next couple.
Oh, yes.
3 in a row. The Bulls living in their forward line. Conversion is what's required from the Tigers, and they've got to be on the job in defence when it heads their way, as they are here with Asprey. He's got numbers behind to utilise. Hooley's had another big day possession-wise. His 30th disposal. Got danger written all over it, but Grigg stood tall. Tigers need to do that. They can't falter at this stage. On the way out, it's Rance. Controls it. Low for Lambert. Next cab will be Chaplin. It gets there. Not perfect, but it's pretty good. It turns around. Revolt's in his face. He's got Rioli forward. Hampson wants it long. Not prepared to roll the dice.
Had to roll it.
He's a left leg. He just had to roll boundary side and go long, knowing that his forwards get the forwards
Hampson's
to be there.
Danger man long. He's down there. Get it to him.
From a different angle. Martin doesn't go to him. Went short instead.
Still the danger man. The big streak.
Careful kick is just the required distance from Lennon, and it's Sean Grigg. Last week, of course, they were criticised for making wrong decisions and not taking enough time and not kicking goals and playing on when they shouldn't. Now they only, it's just all.
That's it, go.
Just go.
Play on every single time.
Well, they've done the right thing here. They've worked their way through to get themselves a shot at goal. This one has to be kicked. And they still live.
His 20th disposal of the afternoon coming up. Just 5 kicks for Sean Grigg. It was a bit of an up and under. He might not make it.
Distance.
Can you believe that?
Well, I think he's doing pretty well. He's being affected with that broken thumb. He's got the glove on.
Oh, thank you.
But that would have been handy to go through.
Sloan waiting. Alice from the side. Crows have the answers off half back. McGovern, powerful kick. Rance should swallow this one. Slapped it away from Douglas. And happy enough to see it over the chalk. I don't think Adelaide will be complaining about that.
No, they won't. Geez, they've picked up a player, haven't they, in McGovern? They've got McGovern at one end, Lever as a youngster at the other. They've got Millerer, who is a real find.
Exciting times ahead for the Crows.
Yeah, it looks good.
Being dominated in this quarter, as those numbers would suggest. 14-4 in the contested situation. Vickery pleading for deliberate.
Not deliberate.
It's only deliberate, Ty, if it goes over on the full.
There's McGovern. There's Alice for company as we speak. So they've got back to 33 points here, the Tigers. Seeds of something more. Hope being sown. Miles tries to get out of there. Nothing doing.
Didn't land, mate, he landed next to you.
Yeah, they need to get it 20 points with 5 minutes to play, Jared. So they've got 6 minutes now to just keep Adelaide scoreless and get another 13 on the board themselves.
Sounds easy, Jono, when you say it like that.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Plenty of time.
Miller with other ideas.
He can dance, can't he?
And McGovern can't get the run to leap.
Got to go hard. Go fast.
He's done a pretty good job since he's been moved back to defence. He's got short. Those legs are powering across half-back. Indulges in a bounce. And another, the youngster. Tried to guide the kick for Chaplin. He went to ground. He got up. He had to. He forced his way through on Will and not much more at the moment. Kept going again. Got it from Hooley. Sends it high. Hampson. The faith is there. Revo hit him on the skull.
He's injured too, Hampson.
Oh, boy.
And someone might have landed on his foot. He's in a bit of strife.
Keep an eye on that. Meantime, the Crows surging forward. Lines. Eddie's deep. Keeping them guessing as always, Eddie, but it gets away from him.
I feel the players really flagging there. Cole Chaney really struggled in the chase.
Hampson just refusing to get the medical attention that he clearly needs.
Slipped a bit, didn't he?
I think they've got to get the boy off at this stage. Doesn't want to come off. And you can see what it means to him. He's had to fight a lot of battles, hasn't he?
Yes.
he's got this chance at the start of the season. He's done pretty well. He's had injuries in the past. He's lacked opportunity when he's been fit. He's taken a big mark, kicked a goal in this quarter. Just wants to stay out there.
Well, he's got to push through. It was highlighted last week that had hands on the...
Here he goes. Can't quite take the mark. Talia's always a hard man to beat. Bang, the ball from Hardigan to centre half forward.
Oh, well done.
Oh, McGovern, what a fight. It was brilliant stuff. Still up for grabs for the Crows.
Good hands. Finish it.
Oh, Miller, a fumble. Still just a young man.
Had a chance. Little
okay.
fumble.
You go back to Hampson, 9 minutes to go. If he needs to come off for 3 or 4, come off. Get the treatment required. So then when you're out there, you can actually put some pressure on when the ball hits the ground. That's where, in that last contest, he had nothing on once the ball came to ground because he's hobbling around. Come off, get what you need to get done, and then you've got 5 minutes of impact time.
He was a long way from the bench, Jono.
Yeah. Well, he is, but...
Yeah, you're right. I mean, if he's not fit, he needs to...
It depends on if coming to the bench is going to fix anything.
Yep. Alice. Don't argue with the physio, Jono.
No, I would never do that.
There's a knife at the bench, maybe that's what's required.
Yes.
Quick operation.
You know, get him off, maybe a Rioli on who's on the bench at the moment, a bit of speed at ground level.
Vickery's their deepest forward as we speak. That's a long way away from the action right now.
Yeah, their major issue isn't Hampson, it's getting the ball inside their forward 50.
So try and do, but Atkins, just a bit of a waiting game for the Crows.
Tex.
Or Eddie. Neither has it turned out, at least not yet. Walker. Oh, he's calling for a free. Thud into the turf here at Etihad. It's tight. Riley Knight feeling it.
This way. Watch behind me, boys. Watch behind me. Trent, out of the way. The ruckman, Trent. Thank you.
Richmond fans hold their breath. Hooley. Betts. Oh, got to be careful here. Alice just jammed it on the boot. It was a pretty decent kick. It gives them a fighting chance. Miller got the fumbles at the moment. Did enough. Gets it back for McGovern.
Oh, good kick.
Yeah. Oh, no. Just misses it, Genie. Can't quite control it. Did enough. Brown, he wound up. Kicked it deep. Right to the line. That'll suit the Tigers. Gives them the footy. Down to 8 minutes 30, Jono. They haven't got any closer yet.
They haven't.
They've got, what was it, another 2 minutes to kick a couple of goals?
Yes, they have. What did we say? 20 points with 5 to go.
Yeah, it feels closer than 35 points, doesn't it?
It does at the minute.
With me. Thanks, Taylor.
Well, they gave one up with 4 goals in a few minutes. Now they've got to do the reverse.
And it's got to be all systems go. Martin, Lyons, and it'll be good night, Irene, if they're not careful here.
They've got to be careful they don't turn this into Hollywood.
Eddie, it's going.
Well, they should have finished that.
Yeah.
That was just globetrotter stuff to use a basketball term again. And 3 blokes there, Leroy's, just got to finish it. 1 goal a ball.
That's extraordinary non-decision, and it's going to cost them, and cost them big time.
Oh, Douglas.
Richard Douglas puts it through.
Well, it's been a fantastic performance by the Crows. They were challenged in that first quarter, but since they wrested control back in that first quarter, which they did at about the 15-minute mark, they have just gone from strength to strength. And if you thought last week was tough, this one is going to be even tougher for the Tigers. They've got a tough draw, and it's going to be unrelenting the pressure until they get their act back together.
Douglas has been brilliant today. 17 possessions, 3 goals on the board. He started the tone. He set the tone early for the Adelaide Crows. Look at that from turnovers today. 4-9 for Richmond. 12 goals, 9.
Well, they just haven't been able to move the ball anywhere near the same, have they?
No.
Hampson's had the running repairs. He's trying to match it with Jacobs, but the Crows going forward.
Push down the ground.
It's going to be downfield.
Adelaide, down the ground.
There's a nice easy one.
They're all lining up for it.
Yeah, mine, I was there.
Good on you. I'm glad the gave that to McGovern then, because all the senior players were hanging around.
Yeah.
The younger one was the one likely to get left out.
That last goal in country footy terms, the car starter.
Yes.
15 seconds.
I thought Eddie could have put his hand up for this one.
He was trying.
Seems like you got some knowledge about that situation, John.
Maybe.
McGovern, an undoubted talent. It's going to work its way. Not back enough.
He's got some work to do on his set shots. They're nowhere near as fluent as his field kicking. But it's been impressive to see him strut his stuff today.
Chaplin from behind, got the fist to it.
Rory Sloane's been good again.
Thompson off the left boot.
As has Thompson.
Sets it up. The flyer was impressive from Lyons. Knight got a handball out of there.
He won't die wondering, the Miller.
Not at all.
Sloane.
Look at that numbers around.
Lyons really taking his opportunity. Edwards now the break. There's no one at the cupboard. Was officially bare when he looked up, so he had to wait. And
pressure again. Magnificent Crows.
High tackle, Richmond. High tackle.
There's 5 people around that ball.
Yeah.
That was fantastic work.
Atkins was breaking.
A little backhander.
Gone for the block.
Little cop that.
Look, they gave away the free kick here, but that's been the nature of it all day, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Outnumbering Richmond all over the ground.
Hooley east past. Kick to half forward to Chaplin. Not much for him to go to initially. Margin 43 points. Juggling act required from Sean Grigg. Plenty of tall targets deep. They just set it up and have a run and jump. Hampson. About 4 Crows defenders to contend with. Too tough.
Yeah. See you later. Big sprawl there from Lever. 10 rows back.
He was one of the great finds in the draft last year. I think he had the knee reconstruction, didn't he?
That was through the...
set him off the radar, kept him a little bit quiet.
Through the AFL Academy.
As part of the switcheroo too, wasn't it, Jono? They swapped their picks with Geelong.
Yep.
Cats had their eye on Mackay Cockatoo, and Adelaide were able to take Lever. Crowd of 30,000 here at Etihad this afternoon. Have to be impressed with the Adelaide Crows. Tigers looking for a late one from Alice. Not going to happen there.
Thanks, Jack. Jack! Good man. Thanks, mate. Hold. Thanks, Tyrone. Hold.
Down to the last 5 then.
Thanks, it. Hold, Ty. Move on. Play on. Shoot.
Talia. Not that time for McGovern.
Lots of things to like about the Crows, though, Jono. We've noted that they're kicking. It's tremendous out of the back half, but they've got a lot of good contested marks in one-on-ones.
Just their scoring power, I think, from what they're launching from half-back at the moment. We've seen the good sides in the early part of the season launch from here. They've got good kickers off half-back. They've got 3 or 4 they can go to on a regular basis who break the zone by getting over the top.
A little bit of indecision probably cost Hardigan on that occasion.
He'd be happy with his day's work, though.
Yep. Miles, busy intersection at half forward. Lever again playing his part. Edwards angled it for Grigg. He's found himself inside 50, having another shot for goal. If he chooses, didn't really want to, I think, judging from before. Was anyway.
Not sure why anybody kicks the ball 8 metres.
You're inside. Yeah, inside. Yeah, you.
And they pierce the defence again and find a way out. Talia getting adventurous, kicking up onto the wing. Walker.
That's it, hold. Thanks, Dustin.
Just takes a bit of air out of it for a bit.
Well, they kicked 14 goals in round 1. Adelaide here at Etihad Stadium. North Melbourne got them in the second half of that game. They had a handy lead at half-time. Then they've got 22 on the board last week and another 19 today. But all those launches the last 2 weeks, Jared, is just their power run. Outworking the opposition.
And doing it, of course, without Tom Lynch. And we wish Tom and Courtney well.
Yeah, congratulations.
With the birth of their child. Been a baby boom over in the Crows with Mark Rasciuto producing his 6th.
Number 6.
Is it only 6th?
Yep.
Okay.
Tom.
Vickery. Last 3 minutes of this game. He sets it up, Tyrone. Revolt might fly. Going high was Hardigan. Edwards with the soccer tactics. Crouch v Flostone.
Good body work. Did well.
Yep. Lloyd. Short for Cochin. Sloan with the counter. Lloyd again. McIntosh, some tight old legs out there. Short. Just threw at his head.
Well, he put the head down, but it was duly amputated.
Short could have nearly been paid the mark.
Yeah, it was close. He's found a good niche for himself over in the Crows, hasn't he?
I was just thinking that, Jared. I mean, two other clubs, and obviously his size as a defender hasn't really allowed him to be a full key defender, but this is working in so well, collaborating with these Crows, and they're on the march again, carving a road right through the middle of Etihad today. McKay pumps it, and they're the ones that were goals in quarters 2 and 3, but they missed a few in this last.
I've enjoyed McKay's work. I think he's slowly getting back to his best.
Push out.
Now Rance still inside defensive 50.
Just needs to find another half dozen possessions, maybe another 10. You can't survive on your 15s and your 18s. You've got to get up in their high 20s.
He's floating back a little bit more in the first part of the season.
Did no favours for Menager, who did well, adapted nicely. Short again off that left boot, pumped it high. We know Lloyd can fly! Oh, he almost dragged it down again, Lloyd.
Oh, that was horrible.
He's just got to keep jumping at everything, Lloyd, now.
Haven't butchered the ball inside their forward 50 all that many times today, the Crows, so you forgive them for one, but that wasn't his best effort.
I think that would have been a better mark than the first one from Lloyd if he dragged it down.
Hutto.
Been a touch of Liam Picken last week.
That would have challenged Gary Moorcroft.
Gary Moorcroft, who was under him again?
I don't know. Maybe me.
Here's McIntosh from 50, tries to nurse this one home. Into the post. And the Tigers 12 goals, 14.
Well, if you didn't see it the first or the second time, here's another look from another angle.
Oh, look at that jump.
And it's a great jump.
Wow.
That's one of the problems of being a young defender. Somebody at some stage is going to get marked of the year on top of you.
Thompson back into the middle. Oh, over the head of Big Sauce Jacobs. Vickery senses an opportunity late. And he goes short for Edwards. 13 seconds only on the clock when he looked up. He'll better go back and have the shot, which will probably be on or after the siren here.
Hey, Shane, Mark's here.
No last-second drama for Richmond this week. And they've been beaten comprehensively by the Adelaide Crows. And they have shown everybody over the last 2 weeks they could well be a contender in 2016. Finished it off with a goal, Edwards. It's only academic, though. It's a 36-point win to the Crows, who've come to town and walk away with another 4 points.
Yeah, big win by Adelaide. They put the pressure around the ball. They were first in early in the game. They were able to build a strong first quarter after being challenged in the first 10 minutes. And from that point on, they outnumbered the contest. They got their shape right around stoppages, and they scored from turnover on a regular basis, especially from half-back. They used the ball well, they kicked it well, they kicked it long, and they kicked it strong. And that's why they were able to get some really strong inside forward 50s to put the Richmond defenders under the pump for most of the game.
And the Tigers, well,
they got some issues, Hutto.
It could easily be Norton 3, couldn't it?
Could well be. And today, you walk away here if you're a Tiger supporter or a Tiger player and think, Hurley was great, Cochin was terrific, Ellis got plenty of the ball, Rance was pretty good, and yet we've been belted.
Let's get to Moons.
Thanks, Hutto. Brody, absolutely fantastic game for you guys. I mean, you come over here, you come away from home, you want to shut the crowd out early, and that's exactly what you did.
Yeah, that's right. Obviously, we had a good game last week, and we really wanted to back it up, and then to come out and get a good start again this week and then continue on and finish like that's really pleasing.
I know every team wants to talk about their defence, and it's what you guys really must pride yourselves on, but the attacking style of game on the back of that, you yourself must be flourishing in that.
Yeah, that's right. It all comes off our defence, though. We're working together to get that team defence, and then once we turn the ball over, we're all going and attacking, and yeah, love a bit of that, so it's really enjoyable at the moment.
What about Paul Seaman coming into the game? I mean, for you guys, I mean, we've been looking at you for the last couple of years being the real driving force off the half-back line. Now you've got someone else to help you out.
Yeah, that's right. It gives us a lot of flexibility as well, so he's able to play wing and half-back, and me and him can swap a little bit, so it's really good. Gives us flexibility, and he's playing really good footy, so yeah, it's good to have him driving the footy forward.
A couple of nice bombs from outside 50, you must be happy with that.
Yeah, I haven't got any this year yet, so it's nice to get on the board. But yeah, I've got to thank Eddie and JJ for them.
Mate, good on you, mate. Congratulations. Good stuff.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Team defence, you mentioned it, that was the important part of this, Jared. But when you look through, it's their midfielders who push back first to help the defence. Then they actually break through and break the lines and then link up from that point on. So they don't just go back, stop and prop. They go back, help, and then they're first to run and move and link up through the midfield as well.
Oh, it's exciting times for the Adelaide Crows. A lot of doom and gloom from many regarding the loss of Patrick Dangerfield, but they have reorganised and they're back 2-1.
Back to you, Moots.
Oh, sorry, we're making a bit of a joke there. Tex, amazing game from you guys. Must be wrapped up for 2 weeks in a row now.
Yeah, look, we've done a lot of work over pre-season and obviously lost the first one, and it's been a credit to the boys. Thought we played together as a team. We had a weight of numbers playing their role, and we had coming into the game, we had an emphasis on getting up and pressuring them. I thought we did it really well, and our ball movement just flowed from that.
19 goals today. I mean 19 goals, 14. So there's a lot of shots on goal. You're getting a lot of inside 50s. Your run from the half back line today it's been exceptional.
Yeah, look, I think as I said, we've done a lot of work on Team D. When we work together as a team in defence, then our ball movement flows off that. And our defenders, Brody Smith had a great game in his 100th. Luke Brown's playing some really good footy, and Rory led, and our mids are giving us some supply down forward, so it's great to see.
No Tommy Lynch today, but I think McGovern was excellent today. I thought the way his work rate was excellent, but just you guys as a forward line, I mean, I look at it as one of probably the better ones in the AFL right now. Your communication and the way that you move around and block for each other, give each other space, it's great to watch.
Yeah, look, we're a really united group down forward. Obviously, Tommy Lynch has got his second little kid on the way, so he had to fly back. And I think the strength of our group at the moment is our SANFL boys are playing some really good footy, and they just come in and we expect them to just play the role for the team. And you look at like Mitch McGovern, Riley Knight come in and played his role, and so Jared Lyons. So that's all we expect from the boys.
You've been doing some leg weights over the summer. You've been bombing a few, mate.
No, mate, my legs are a bit heavy now.
Good on you, mate. Thank you.
Bit of love there.
Yeah, there's always a bit of love. 57 inside 50s, 33 scoring shots. That just goes to show the effect that they're having Adelaide at the moment. They're getting plenty of ball in there. They still had 53 against Jared, but defensively they held up pretty well this afternoon. But they're scoring pretty much, every time they go in there, they look likely that they're going to hit the scoreboard.
Yeah, it's a powerful unit when you consider Lynch wasn't there and he kicked half a dozen last week, and yet they're still won by so many points. It's a very impressive performance by the Adelaide Crows.
Yes, they were team in every sense today.
You're right, 28 possessions is their most. That was Crouch and Thompson, with Smith with 26. You go to Tigers, they have blokes, Alice 39, Hawley 36, Cochin 32. Like massive disposal winners, but the effect on the game goes straight to those other Adelaide midfielders and the consistency through them as a team.
Brody Smith leads it off in his 100th game. They've had amazing starts this year, the Adelaide Crows, and again today they won the first 2 quarters, actually won the first 3 quarters. And it's just getting on the right foot. North were able to catch them in the second half. Port obviously weren't, and neither were Richmond, so they are 2-1.
Yeah, and they deserve to be. And to come back off the showdown's massive. The build-up to all of that, you can understand if there is a letdown on the back of the showdown because of what they do, especially with young players in your side, like Lever we see on screen there. Miller, we mentioned a little bit as well. But they stood up again. So it just goes to show they're getting all aspects of their preparation right to hit the ground running and work to outnumber the opposition and get in first. And that's the basics of the game, and they're doing the basics very well.
So they kicked 19 goals for the day, 19-14 to 13-14. And ready to celebrate a 36-point win at Etihad Stadium.
Just over 30,000 fans at Etihad Stadium to see the Adelaide Crows very emphatic in their 36-point win. Interestingly enough, next week Richmond must journey to Perth to play the West Coast Eagles, so that is a really tough assignment. And Adelaide has no easy task either because they play Sydney at the Adelaide Oval. So a couple of cracking matches to look forward to next week. We're going to take a break. There's still lots more to come, so I hope you can stay with us. But for the moment, it's the Adelaide fans who are celebrating. Home by 36 points at Etihad Stadium.
You're watching Jeep Super Saturday.